Welcome to We Want Picks. We're going to break down the entire UFC Kansas City fight card, giving you our picks, our predictions, and our bets. It's going to be a very, very interesting card coming off the heels of a very interesting pay-per-view. Before we break down this card, let's talk about the $50 bonus giveaway. Anybody who goes to WeWantPicks.com/bets and signs up with one of our affiliate partners, we'll get $50. Just go to WeWantPicks.com/bets, use our link, sign up with any one of our 4 sportsbook partners, and we will send you $50 as a thank you. It's affiliate marketing. They're going to pay me, and then I'm going to break off a piece, and I'm going to pay you. It is literally that simple. WeWantPicks.com/bets. And premium has a new look and a new feel. Previously, you would log in the premium, and it would say bets, mine and Jacob's, picks, mine and Jacob's. We have separated all of that so that we can bring on additional analysts. So now when you log in, you'll see analysts. And there's a drop-down menu with more than just me and Jacob. There are now 3 people breaking down fights across the world for you. And this allows us to do individual experiences. For example, my page is dedicated to me. My picks. You're going to get the confidence, the round leans. You're going to get the safety parlay, next event's safety parlay if I'm ahead. You're going to get all that information from me. Jacobs, you're going to get the lock of the week history.
A separate page, right?
Yeah, you have a separate page.
So there's a separate page, because I was on the understanding that everything was just combined. And everything was just always combined. And when you do your recap video, Angelo, I thought you just had to tell everyone's business about everything. I just thought that's how it was, right? Listen, guys, and I went on a little Twitter rant today, and let me just say that Twitter rant was not angry at people who are upset at my bets. I don't give a fuck if you're upset. I get upset when my bets lose, so I don't need you to be upset for me. I understand what it is, and I trust my bets. I do the fucking research. I sit there for hours and hours and hours every single Sunday doing the research. So yeah, I'm going to be confident in my bets, and yeah, if I'm confident in my bets, I'm going to slang that fucking thing. I'm not a pussy. I'm not doing this, and there's nothing wrong with betting small, but if I'm doing the research, and I trust my research, I'm going all in. And yeah, you're going to lose some, but guess what? I've been winning more than I'm losing. This rant on Twitter was because people... Leave Angelo alone. Leave Angelo alone. The rant on Twitter was because people are attacking Angelo because he wasn't talking about my bets, my losses for this week. I got killed this week. Angelo wasn't mentioned. Where's Jacob's bets? Where's Jacob's bets? Angelo has nothing to do with me. He doesn't have to talk about my fucking bets. They're my fucking bets. So when you're asked, where's Jacob? You know where my bets are? You want to talk about fucking transparency? You fucking greasy pigs. I sit here in this same fucking chair almost every single Saturday, showing every single one of my premium fucking bets, every single one of my live fucking bets. I'm screenshotting, I'm holding up my phone, dollar amounts, actual dollar amounts. You want to talk about transparency? You want a fucking recap from my bets? Sit there on fucking Saturdays and I will give you full transparency of every fucking bet, and I will sit there and recap my bets and own up to every single bet every fucking Saturday in this chair in real time. You want to talk about transparency? There's nobody else fucking doing that shit. Talk about transparency. I'm the most transparent person. Stop bothering Angelo about my fucking bets. I sit here every Saturday, own up to every single fucking one, and I'm gonna keep fucking slanging that thing.
You said sucking.
I'll keep fucking slanging that thing. I'm not fucking gonna bitch out now. This is what I love to do. I fucking love this shit. This is passion. I get confident in my plays, and every single bet I make, I'm confident because I do the research. And even when my bets are wrong, a lot of times the analysis is right. That's what we keep trying to tell you guys. Don't fucking tail bet. You should never just blindly tail bets. We give you the research, the breakdowns to help you make your own bets, be your own person. Because the analysis, I can't fight for these fucking people. I told you guys that Michelle would win this fight with the wrestling. She didn't use it till the 3rd round. I can't go in there and coach for her. I told you guys Adrian Yanez was the better fighter. He got knocked the fuck out. You know why? Because he didn't stick to the game plan. He said he got crazy. I can't control that. So shut the fuck up. Stop being such fucking pussies about shit. I'm the most transparent one there is. Angelo's transparent as well. We do this for you guys. Sit down, enjoy. We appreciate all you get. This is a rant for the very few little people out there, the trolls, and they're very little people as well. So everyone else, love you guys, all the support. I just need to say that because when people are trying to act like I'm not transparent, Angelo,
You got triggered. Fuck? You don't usually get triggered. You got triggered. So this is what, just a recap. I managed to squeak by. I was up this much. I didn't lose any money. I certainly wasn't up a giant measure amount. I was up about a half a unit. The safety parlay carried me. The safety parlay, which is for premium members only, carried me. As it has been, it's been doing well. But I ended up a little bit up. So in my video, I talked about my bets, every single one that I placed, the ones I missed, the ones I hit, and the safety parlay. And people only gave a shit that you lost a ton of money. You lost a lot.
Yeah.
In your defense, it's your money.
And I lost more than just the premium bets. I don't sit here and be like, I lost. It fucking sucks. I'm losing my own money. I don't owe anybody an apology. I'm losing my own money. But yeah, I even lost even more than that because I placed live bets. I lost a few of those. And then I tried to get money back on my own, and I lost that as well. So yeah, I'm a fucking gambler. I'm a day trader. I mean, I talked about this earlier. Angelo is more of an investor, very methodical. I'm a fucking day trader. I'm going to make $200,000, then I'm going to lose $150, and then I'm going to make $50, then I'm going to lose $300, but then I'm going to make $500. If you want to come along for the ride, it's going to be a fucking ride. So good luck tailing. I'm going to have some fun doing it, though.
Well,
but the analysis is usually right. I mean, the analysis is wild, but I'll put my analysis up against anyone. The analysis is always right. Not always, but
people were very mad at me because I only talked about myself. I didn't talk about Jacob. People were very pissed. So here Jacob is.
And I even put it all on. I'm always live Saturdays, and I even put the full recap on Twitter. I mean, nobody owns up to shit more than me. If you guys,
Jacob is the most transparent. I am very transparent I'm never going to lie about anything, but I do tend to highlight the success. I'm not going to spend an hour talking about the misery. I'll highlight the success. People were just foaming at the mouth, couldn't wait to just, Jacob sucks. And I was the first person to post a video because I do it every Sunday.
And I'm not upset. Like I said, if you guys want to trash my bets, I have no issue with that.
No, it's calling you a liar.
When they miss, they miss. I understand. You're pissed. I'm pissed. I mean, yeah, it was a dumb bet in hindsight, but at the time, I thought it was a confident one. It's about the transparency and act like we're trying to hide behind stuff and we're not manning up to stuff. It's like, shut the fuck up.
You literally tweeted.
At the camera.
Yeah.
I literally will sit here, look at the camera, and be like, hey, I was fucking stupid. How many times have I done that on live stream? Hey, I was fucking stupid. I was fucking wrong. You know, nobody owns up to shit more than me.
Listen, I hear you. Let's get this show on the road. Anyway, Premium has a new look. Jacob's rant was kicked off by the fact that we are two separate people and Premium has two separate pages. If you like my approach, check out my page, my bets, my safety parlay. If you want to be a little wild, check out Jacob's as well, but it's not even just us. This opened the door for us to bring on new analysts. Artem isn't us. We have a queue of people. We have a queue of applicants and a queue of people that have asked to be on Premium, people we've reached out to, we're working with, we're getting more people added. Right now, Artem is the very first or the third, however you want to word it, analyst at WeWantPicks.com. First of all, Artem puts in work, and it's hard to see on this screenshot here, but Premium members right now, if you go to Artem's page, not only does he have his fight picks, round line leans, and confidence picks for UFC, he also has breakdowns for PFL, LFA, and Cage Warriors this week alone. Artem is a gold mine for the non-UFC content. We are not touching that $10. This will remain $10. We've now added an entirely new person with new breakdowns, different leagues, and we're going to be adding more and more people doing the same and more sports as well. It will always, forever and always be $10. We will never, ever touch that price point ever. WeWantPicks.com at the top. Click become a member. It's only $10. Sign up using code Artem to give him credit, right? He gets paid. Artem gets paid. We split that money with him, so give him the money, and we know it's his when it's tagged to him. So give that kid some love. But we still have all the tools, like Jacob said. If you don't want to blindly tail, we have the tools for you to find your own spots. The line movement tracker is incredibly helpful. We didn't follow the line movement tracker last week. We liked Chris Curtis. The line movement tracker told us no, and we did not pay attention to that. Tanner Boser in the exact same situation as Chris Curtis this week. We'll talk about that fight in a minute, and we still have the incredible detailed data and metrics that you can use to find your own spots. WeWantPicks.com, you're going to get all this shit for $10 a month. If you hate Jacob, don't go to his page. You hate me, don't go to my page. You love it all. Go to all of it. Find your spots. Pick your pieces. The raw notes are there. The tools are there. The DraftKings analysis is there. The optimizers. There's so much there to help you be successful here. This is not a copy-paste Discord or a copy-paste Patreon. Those people are lazy bastards. We built the website fully functional, interactive. Everything you could ever need is right there. Got a super chat. Let's hit that. And then we're going to break this down. $5.
A good joke, too. I didn't want to interrupt, and I wanted to get the delivery right. But now that it's a kind of a setup joke, it's not going to be as great. But I thought about transparency. If somebody in the chat, because somebody was like, oh, that was great, Jake, but what about transparency? Like being a joke, whatever. And being like, listen, if you want transparency, why don't you go stand outside your mom's room? I'll Windex the window, and you can watch me fuck the shit out of her.
Jesus.
Transparency.
You really loved that one. I didn't think that was that great.
I mean, you like it's transparency through the window. You can.
Oh no, I understood it. Yeah, no, it wasn't complex. $5 super chat from Quint Lazenby. Good evening, boys. The community is growing and premium just keeps getting better and better. WWP insight is absolutely invaluable. Thank you very much, Quint. Genuinely appreciate it. And
plus 700.
What? What do you? Oh, yeah, that's wrong.
It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, that's wrong. Well, I got to update these graphics. Anyway.
At least you're transparent.
First up, at UFC Kansas City, we have Joselyne Edwards taking on Lucie Pudilova. Joselyne Edwards, 12-4 overall, 3-2 in her last 5. She is coming off a short notice win over Ji-Yoon Kim. And she's taking on Lucie Pudilova, 14-7 overall, 4-1 in her last 5. Coming off a win over Yanan Wu in her second UFC stint. This is an interesting fight. The line movement, this has tightened. She opened as plus 150 for Joselyne. Now she's plus 115. Lucie, I forget what that was supposed to say. I'll update the graphic for you. The line movement tracker has that. I messed up Lucie's graphic. I'm sorry. I genuinely apologize.
Well,
but anyway,
yeah, it's supposed to be. Yeah, both of them are messed up, not just the plus 700.
Why? What's wrong with... Oh, you mean the top and the bottom. Yeah.
They're both wrong.
I only did Joselyne's side, clearly. Anyway, Joselyne Edwards, nasty kickboxer. She uses range really, really well. She has a variety of strikes, mostly kicks, though. Actually, when she fought Ramona Pascal, it was more than half of the strikes that she threw were just straight-up kicks. Interesting, because she manages range really, really well. Like, she does a surprisingly good job managing that range. But if you can get inside of the range, you can have success with her. If you can crowd her and bully her and push her back, you can have success. But getting inside, getting past that range, getting past that length can be tricky. And again, she uses those kicks really well to do that. Lucie Pudilova, powerful striker. She likes to circle, throw big, heavy 1-2s, and just work that. She does not have the most volume. She picks her shots for the most part, but she does throw with intent. She has started to work in takedowns. She has had 8 takedowns in the UFC. She's had 8 fights in the UFC, but she was on a 4-fight losing streak, was cut. She's put together 6 wins in her last 7 fights, and then now she's back looking for that first UFC win. I like Joselyne Edwards here. Joselyne Edwards is absolutely the pick. Lucie's the slight favorite still. The line tightened quite a bit. But I like Joselyne Edwards. I think she manages that range really well. I think people continue to underestimate her like they did when she fought Ramona Pascal, when she fought Ji-Yoon Kim. That was on short notice. That was like a week after the Ramona Pascal fight, or a couple of weeks. And I, as well, was like, I don't think she's going to get this done, blah, blah. And she went in there. She looked good. She got it done on short notice. This is going to be a boring fight. This is going to fly past the 2.5 round line. That is a pretty safe bet there. But I do think Joselyne Edwards is a solid underdog here, and I think she's going to get it done. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I agree with the boring part. I mean, this is, if you guys want to just kind of show up to the card late, I would highly recommend that. I might even start the stream after this fight is over, honestly, because it's going to be absolutely just a slow, methodical kickboxing match. And it's probably going to be a lot of Lucie trying to take Joselyne down against the fence, because I just don't think she can take her down. She is a rangy striker, as Angel mentioned. Not super fast, not super powerful, and for whatever reason has tried to turn into a wrestler. I think she's with John Kavanaugh, and they've turned her into a wrestler, but she's a decent wrestler, but she's not overly dominant in the wrestling, in the striking, and I think Joselyne can stuff those takedowns with those legs of hers. So I think that she can, kind of stuff those takedowns, wear Lucie down, and then find enough strikes in this boring fight to eke out a decision. But it's going to be a decision fight. It's probably going to be a lot of Lucie hanging on Joselyne, and Joselyne not being able to throw out the volume that she needs. So that means it's going to come down to the judges. These are Missouri judges, Kansas City, Missouri, not Kansas City, Kansas. These are Missouri judges. We don't know. I can't remember the last card. If there's ever, I don't know the last card we've had Missouri judges. So who knows how much experience they have. I'm going to go with Joselyne here as well. I like the experience. I like her takedown defense. It's going to be slow. It's going to be a methodical fight, but I'm going to go with Joselyne. But this is there's no reason to put money on either one of these people.
No, I agree. The round line's definitely safe. Neither one of these women are a finisher. Both of them are tough enough to not get finished. So over 2.5 is pretty safe here. It's a little bit juiced, but it's definitely, I definitely see that happening. DraftKings, 7,600 to 8,600. The fact that they took that hard of a line here, that, Lucie's that much better, is very interesting. Joselyne at 7-something. You're going to be enticed by it, especially if you're like us and you think she wins. But the reality is she doesn't score well, right? It's point fighting from the outside. There's no takedowns, no control. There's no knockdowns. There's really nothing other than point fighting from the outside.
They should add takedown defenses as at least a fraction
FanDuel
points.
does. FanDuel, I believe FanDuel does. If FanDuel doesn't, then certainly the prize picks.
If takedowns are, what are they, 5 or 10? Are they 10? I think a takedown's 10 points. If those 10, you should get 5 for defending.
Takedowns in DraftKings are 5 points.
Okay, you should get 2.5 for defending. You should get half it for defending.
It depends. Yeah, I would say less than half because somebody will shoot 40 the takedown percentages for most people are like 35%.
I think only one person has ever shot 40 takedowns, Angelo, and that was Merab. So
okay, and he was like at 30%.
Back straight. What was that?
And I think the percentage was only at 30% accuracy. What?
What are you saying?
Are you serious?
Yeah, are you running your fucking mouth right now?
Oh, fuck, I knew it was some stupid bullshit.
I'm hyped up, man. I've been hyped up all day. I was hot this morning. I was hot this morning. If we would have filmed this morning, it would be, I would still be going. It would be the most profanity-laced rant you've ever heard in your life. But
well, here you go. Burns is canceling his membership because you've been rude.
Man.
I don't know what we're going to do. WeWantPicks.com for all the things. Unlock the tools. You think Jacob's bets are hot dumpster fire trash. That's fine. Don't look at them. Use the tools. The DraftKings Optimizer, the DraftKings player rankings, the player pools, all that stuff. WeWantPicks.com. Click. Become a member. Next up, at UFC Kansas City, we have Aaron Phillips taking on Gaston Bolanos in a very weird fight. A very weird fight. Interesting matchup. A lot of weird narratives and things going on here. Aaron Phillips, 12-4 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, and he is coming back into the cage after almost 3 years away, and he's taking on a Bellator fighter. Gaston Bolanos, 6-3 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming out a knockout win at Bellator 11 months ago, and he had a 7-fight stint in Bellator. There's a lot of narratives going on here. Gaston Bolanos is a solid striker. He's got really good Muay Thai and a professional background. He's got solid power, a willingness to engage. His whole claim to fame, you can't do any research on this guy without knowing that he has more than one spinning back elbow knockout.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I didn't see that in my research.
Well, you don't do which is explains the bets.
That's right.
That explains the bets.
That explains the bets. That explains that's why I'm hiding all weekend.
Well, I would hide.
Deleting all my bets, all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it does explain a lot. So if you did do research, you would know.
Just being a douchebag.
that one is actually a fact. He has more than one spinning back elbow.
That's one of those comments where I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna be falling asleep and be like, man, have I really been a douche lately?
And you're the one who lets things slide. I'm the one who dwells on things.
Right. Even my rant today, it wasn't like a super serious one. It did kind of annoy me about the transparency thing, but everything else is like, I don't give a shit. Like when you think I'm being a douche, or being an asshole, I'm just being sarcastic. I literally don't give a shit about it. I don't give a shit about anything.
You're a permanent troll for sure. Anyway, Gaston Bolanos, nasty kickboxer, professional striking background, is known for spinning back elbows. He has more than one spinning back elbow knockout in both kickboxing and MMA. And he's taking on Aaron Phillips. Aaron Phillips, again, coming back after 3 years away. He's a striker. He's also had an interesting MMA career because he's been a professional since 2011. He has 12 wins with 7 stoppages, but he cannot get a UFC win under his belt. He had 3 fights in the UFC since 2014, 2 decision losses. Most recently, he came back after a long time away, lost to Jack Shore, was submitted. Skill-wise, he is tough. He comes forward. He's got decent takedown defense. His takedown defense needs work, but he does have nice scramble skills and a get-up game if he is taken down. The reality is there's not going to be any takedowns in this fight. We have striker versus striker. I do feel like this fight is set up for Gaston to get a fun knockout. But the reality is he's coming off a 7-fight stint in Bellator. He's got 2 losses in his last 3 fights. Like, I don't understand. His last 5 fights. He's a weird signing for me. Like, he wasn't surging. He's got a couple of recent losses. He's pretty one-dimensional. Like, I'm surprised the UFC's like, yes, sign him, throw him on. And this wasn't a short notice step up either, so it's not like he got that opportunity. All that being said, Gaston should win this fight. It's a striking versus striker. He's going to be the better striker. He's the more dangerous guy. Aaron Phillips hasn't fought in a few years. I mean, who knows? I hate when there's, that kind of layoff because somebody might come back looking great, but the reality is I don't think he will. The pick is Gaston for sure, and the only real meaningful bet here is under 2.5. What do you think, Jakey?
Yeah, I like the under 2.5. I don't know if Gaston's the pick for sure. I agree that he is the pick in this matchup because, 3-year layoff, there's no way you can trust that as a pick with your money. If you're doing with Gaston, you might as well just go all the way inside the distance because, as Angel mentioned, he is a finisher. The only thing that kind of worries me about him coming into this fight is in his losses, it's almost, he's a very confident striker. He's very confident. He's a very cocky striker. That's why he throws that spinning back elbow over and over because it lands all the time. I mean, he has good reason to be cocky with that strike. But when things don't really go his way, and he avenged this loss in his last win, but 2 losses ago, that rear naked choke, that guillotine choke, it was such a weird situation. He was kind of just standing next to the guy, put his head in, the guy kind of grabbed his neck, and he didn't really react to it. It's like he was kind of lackadaisical with the whole thing and had no sense of urgency when he was in that situation and got choked out. And yeah, that was a few years ago. He avenged that loss. But there's just certain instances where I see him in the cage where I'm like, I don't know if he really gives a shit that much. Like, if things are going his way and he can do the Muay Thai thing because he is a very good Muay Thai striker, he's having fun in there. But the second things don't go his way, if he can't land that elbow, it's almost like he's like just kind of loses, a will to fucking fight in there. So that is a pause for concern. But Aaron Phillips, as you mentioned, 3 years off. You browse his Instagram, and it's not training pictures, and it's not that he's not training, but it's family. He's got his own gym. He's doing that thing. So I think this is just kind of a promotion for his gym, get a check, that type of thing. But we'll see. I mean, I don't trust Gaston. He should win. But like I said, the last fight, the last whatever, there's probably better places to put your money.
Yeah, I like the under. I like the under for sure. Gaston could look exactly like we just saw Jacqueline Amorim look. We just saw Raul Rosas look. He could come in hot, be the much better fighter, dominate the first round, and then just break. Just break if he doesn't get that finish early.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably one of those situations, we've said it on a few cards before, where Gaston could end up being the best value on the card. Be like, oh shit, why didn't I pay the minus 195 for this guy? You've got a first round. Like, what am I thinking? Or it could be like, oh, good thing I didn't have him in my parlay.
Yeah, and between us, not like a secret, between you and I, I'm obviously I'm the more conservative one, so I'm not touching that. $7,000 in DraftKings, $9,200 in DraftKings. If you think Gaston's going to come in here and be the showcase fighter that I think the UFC thinks he's going to be, he's worth the $9,200. This is a sketchy card, another sketchy card. Every single line, I don't think there's a single 1.5 round line on this card. They are all 2.5 round lines.
They're all, and it's mostly because not that they're good matchups or people aren't finishers. There's just so many tough fucking dudes. When we break down fights, there's so many this dude's tough as shit. I mean, it's every person on this card.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not a card loaded with wrestlers. It's just, like you said, a lot of tough people. So anyway, I do think this one will go under. I think Gaston will win. I think he'll win by finish. I don't trust my money with that exact bet, Gaston by finish, but I do trust in DraftKings. I will probably have him in my DraftKings lineup. If he goes out there, puts on a
definitely
show,
for
gets it done.
multi-entry for sure. He needs to be in a few.
No, absolutely. Yeah, that's it here. If you guys want to check out all of our bets, WeWantPicks.com, unlock those. And the tools. The tools are just as important, if not more important, to help you find your own spots at WeWantPicks.com. We have a $2.79 Canadian super chat from Wyatt Corm. Best duo in the game, 15,000 subscribers coming soon. Thank you very much, Wyatt Corm. Appreciate the super chat for sure. Appreciate the kind words. We should be at 15,000 very shortly. We're averaging more than 1,000 new members or new subscribers per month.
It's moving fast.
It is moving
I was
very,
looking
very
at
fast.
the views last week. I don't know what they end up being, but I assume they're going to be over like 50,000 views for just last week with all of our videos combined and stuff like that. So
it's crazy. The numbers,
we appreciate all the fucking support, man. You guys are amazing. I know I went on a rant and was trying to kind of trash people earlier, but you guys literally are amazing. You guys are what makes this channel, and we're so appreciative of every single one of you.
With absolute certainty, 100%. Our numbers are insane. There are people with far more subscribers than us that have been around for longer, and we do better numbers. We do more views, more likes, more interactions. Our numbers are just better, and that's because of you guys. You guys are just literally a better community. Like you interact more, you watch our stuff more consistently. Like even when you hate Jacob, hate Jacob, you're at least commenting that you hate him. And then a $4.99 super chat from Sam Peace, Mr. Salamander. Thank you for the stream, even though bets didn't work out last week. This is a new week. Thank you guys for everything as usual. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Sam. You know, it's funny because you mentioned that. And I mentioned it to Angelo too. And this is how invested I get with this channel, with my bets, with the live streams, with everything. Is I ended that live stream after the Chris Curtis fight, honestly, which obviously did not go our way. I want to be transparent here. I had money on Chris Curtis. I had about $500-600 on Chris Curtis. So just let's full transparency here. But it didn't go our way, and I got so invested, and I felt so bad about my bets losing that I got done, and I went to bed that night, and I thought, I'm not going to live stream anymore. It felt like just
He literally texted me.
I literally texted Angela. I was like, I felt like I don't know if I'm going to live stream anymore, because it felt to me like it was just such a failure of a stream because I fucking let everyone down with all these bets. So I felt awful about it. And then Angela was like, no, dude, I think it was still entertaining. So I'm glad that you guys still
That's all. I mean, that's what the fight companions are. Straight entertainment. You bet your own money for a good time. And if people want to copy, great. And if they don't, that's great too. Like everybody's responsible for their own decisions. And the important thing to note with you, I'm not risky. Nothing I do is risky. That's why when I'm up units, I'm up like 1.5.
Well, every
and when I'm down,
there's a little bit of a risk.
To the plate.
Choking, blood pressure, cholesterol.
Actually, I went to I got this freaking thing in my neck.
You're on steroids now, huh? Let's see a full flex.
I stopped taking them because I don't take them before streams because I sleep like trash. I'll flex because I sleep like trash.
Oh, you got a little cut in there too, huh?
Always. Yeah. That's the good arm. Anyway, blood pressure, everything. I mean, it's actually, I'm shocked. I was surprised. And then it's like, how much do you drink? It's like, just a couple.
They probably multiply whatever
a day, a day
by 20 in there.
The only thing I could like confidently say, do you smoke? No, of course not. Weed? No, absolutely not. You drink? Socially. Socially
not.
Anyway, let's go ahead and move this train on, Jakey.
Choo-choo.
Next up at UFC Kansas City, we have Bruna Brasil taking on Denise Gomes. Bruna Brasil is 8-2 overall, and she is riding a 7-fight win streak into her UFC debut. And she's taking on Denise Gomes, who is 6-2 overall, 4-1 in her last 5, coming off that grappling loss to incredible striker Loma Lookboonmee. And Bruna Brasil is a hot prospect. She's got fantastic striking. She has incredible power. She's very creative on her feet. Everything she throws is wild. She's throwing Superman punches, spinning back kicks. She just marches forward, throwing an entire arsenal at her opponent, looking for a finish. She does have takedowns as well, but they're not good. They're BJJ takedowns. If you don't know what I mean by that, so I've wrestled my whole life, and then I transitioned to...
Here we go.
Then I transitioned
Angela, I wrestled from ages 12 to 20. I've wrestled my whole life.
I'm only 26, so that's a good chunk of my life.
My apologies.
Anyway, BJJ takedowns are like they'll shoot, but their head is down, and then they'll step their leg around the outside and pull them over and trip. She's getting takedowns, and it looks like she's shooting, but those are not wrestling shots, and those are very easily defended if you have decent takedown defense. But her BJJ is solid once she actually gets there. It's there. She's a striker through and through. She's taking on Denise Gomes. Denise Gomes is also a tough striker, but she can grapple. She's got a little bit better grappling. She can be hittable, but she's really tough, never out of a fight. She's going to continue to come forward, bite down, and bomb away. It does take her a few minutes to get going. She's one of these slow starters. She works in kicks really well, and she can be dangerous on the ground. This is actually going to be a very fun fight. I expect this to be two women just going at it, trying to get a finish. I think Bruna's going to march forward and just go wild, do the spinning, throwing the teeps, doing whatever. Denise is going to try to counter with just big looping wide power. I think Bruna's going to be the better striker. She's definitely the more creative striker. I think Bruna's going to get this done. What?
Sorry, that guy that was complaining about me being a douche, he posted my comment in the chat and said, like, that's why I'm being, I was a douche, the thing about for Twitter. So
Can you just imagine this guy? If you're this guy saying that Jacob
I even offered to suck his toes.
If you're this guy, Jacob was a douche on Twitter. What is this? Does he have...
That thing's 10 out of 10, man.
Burns
was too busy. I'll read it out loud. I'd like to read it out loud if you don't mind. Was too busy, and this was a guy that said, good call on the font pick or something like that, like to my rant this morning. I said, was too busy all week trying to get your sweaty mom off my dick so she could get back to your house and make you dinner before your insulin levels dropped and you had another seizure.
Well, so Burns was very offended by that. I cannot imagine being offended by anything that we tweet and then coming back and being like, that was offensive, Jacob. What is your life
He said,
like?
ha ha.
I think so too. I think so too. Somebody said you were unprofessional and then unsubscribed.
Yeah, well, they should see my OnlyFans.
Very unprofessional. Anyway, I think Bruna Brasil gets it done. I think she comes forward, spins, bombs away, looks for that finish. Denise, not really a counter striker, so she's going to bomb away. Wide looping shots. Bruna's going to be the much better striker, the more technical striker. I see Bruna getting it done, but if we didn't learn anything from last week, do not bet on Bruna Brasil. Do not
put her in every parlay.
Because she's going to come out.
Shit, man.
She's going to look like...
I forgot her name.
Jacqueline Amora. Jacqueline Amora 10-8 rounded that first round, basically.
Jesus Christ. Just lock up. I mean, underneath the neck and can't hold on to the goddamn choke. That alone cost me like 4 or 5 units off the first fight of the card because I had her in parlays. I had this and that. I was like, holy fuck, man.
Yeah. Well, dude, somebody just hit up the comment section basically saying you're not transparent. It is unbelievable. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Okay. Clueless.
Well, I'm on Bruna Brasil. I'm not betting it
they don't know
because
what
I don't trust her.
transparency is because they all live in their fucking basements.
What do you think? There's
no windows.
What do you think about this fight?
I'll tell you what. I agree that on film, on tape, when you're watching Bruna, especially in her last fight, the Contender Series fight, she does look fantastic. I mean, she is hands low, confident, striking. As Angelo mentioned, does the wild stuff. Angelo mentioned the wrestling as well. I see it more of like, you obviously know more than I do. I thought it was more of like a judo. But either way, it's not wrestling, right? We're both saying it's not wrestling type takedowns. And I don't think she could take down Denise if she wanted to anyway. The issue is, in that Contender Series fight, that girl was teeny tiny. I mean, that girl was teeny tiny, and she was able to do kind of whatever she wanted because of the crazy range. And even still, that teeny tiny girl kind of got in some clinch situation, was kind of holding Bruna against the cage. And if Denise is anywhere near her, Denise is her size. She will grab her. She will throw her to the ground. And I don't think you can trust Bruna Brasil off her back because to me, she reminds me when she actually, this is like a weird comparison. I mentioned in my quick pick video, and I don't mean she strikes like him, but the way she fights is like Anderson Silva, right? She likes to be clean, hands low, in and out, doing the wild stuff. And I'm not saying she's as good as Anderson Silva. I'm not saying that. But she wants to fight clean. And Denise is a girl that can make fights dirty. She just fought a very, very good striker, Loma Lukbumi. Got inside, engaged, and yes, Loma was able to take her down and had some positions, but she still fought through all those positions, reversing positions, getting on top of Loma, getting in, blood everywhere. In the third round, took Loma's back. She is in there to fight. She is an absolute dog, and I think she turns this into a dogfight, and I don't think Brasil has a chance in a dogfight against my girl, Denise Gomes. So I'm Denise Gomes all the way. Obviously, if this stays clean, Brasil is going to look fantastic, but I think Denise gets inside, gets her to the ground, and just beats the shit out of her. So I'm Gomes all the way. That's for you, I did that for you,
That could literally look like the Jack and Amorum fight. Bruna could keep it clean and technical the first round, start to slow down, and then Denise just makes it ugly and pours on a beating. So Jacob and I split on this pick. I do think Bruna gets it done. $9,300 on women's MMA for a UFC debut is absurd. Do not spend that money because the likelihood of her getting a finish is incredibly low, and you're going to need a finish for that $9,300 to be worth it. And if you don't get a finish, then you need a Marab. You need somebody to shoot 1,000,000 takedowns and get the control time. And that's not Bruna either. So not spending that $9,300. Jakey boy, you're going to spend the $6,900?
I like that price point, baby.
Especially if you think she's going to grapple.
She might 69er in there. North-south. Dominator. Really put it to her.
You happy with yourself with that one?
I mean, honestly, how many times have you been in North-south? In a gi? Nuts in your face.
On bottom? Never.
You're not a bottom? Power bottom?
I am not. We want picks.
I am not.
WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 a month. Unlock everything, including our newest edition, Artem, who is breaking down LFA fights, PFL fights, Cage Warrior fights, giving you round leans, confidence picks, and all of that. It's not just UFC content. WeWantPicks.com. At the top, click Become a Member. AS says, Taylor Angelo's picks if you want to get rich. That's not the one I meant to pin. I meant to pin this one. Premium is only $10 a month.
I bet.
No, I
bet. I get it. No, I get it.
Premium is only $10 a month.
You didn't even, oops. You were like, oh, didn't mean to pin this, but I'll read it since it's up.
You know I'm Ron Burgundy when stuff is on this screen. How many times have I read God knows what? Keenan says, premium is only $10 a month. That's a bag of chips and a pop soda for everybody else. How can you not? I agree, Keenan. It's actually absurd at that price point. Next up, at UFC Kansas City, we have Lando Vannata, which is such an awesome name. That's a cool name. Lando.
Name. He looks like a Lando, too.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's ever a Lando, he looks like a Lando. It's a
cool
little bit American History X in his eyes,
all right.
Which is a little concerning.
No, there's some hate.
Concerning.
There's a little bit of hate.
He's a good guy, though. He's a good
We got Lando Vannata taking on Daniel Zellhuber. Imagine it was Lando Zellhuber. That's an absurd name. Anyway, taking on Daniel Zellhuber. Lando Vannata, 12-6 overall. 3-2 in his last 5. He is alternating wins and losses. He's taking on Daniel Zellhuber, 12-1 overall. 4-1 in his last 5. He is coming off a loss in his UFC debut, which was his first ever career loss. Lando Vannata is a flashy striker. He's got crazy kicks, spinning attacks, comes out fast, and he is absolutely not a slow starter. This dude just like a lawnmower. You pull that cord and boom, he's off to the races. I just, that wasn't even in my notes. I just did. I mean,
the improvisation is really, really improving. It must be all the Kill Tony you've been watching, honestly. In those interviews, you got to be quick, fast, in a hurry. You think you could grab a lawnmower right now, first pull, rip that thing?
I've mowed hundreds of. Assuming that it
primed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay, yeah, yes.
First pull.
Boom. You know how many lawnmowers I've had to start and use and weed whackers and all that bullshit? Mm-hmm. From Connecticut. I'm not from. I talk like I'm from the city. I am not.
I had to start it for the maid so she could go so she could go mow the lawn. She couldn't start. I started up. Get out there.
Anyway, Lando Vannata's takedown defense is solid at 68%, and we have seen him work in his own offensive takedowns if the striking is not going his way. Daniel Zellhuber is impressive. He's a really cool striker to watch. Very aggressive, dynamic attack style. Really long limbs, which gives him power on his feet, but he also uses it in his grappling. If you take him down, he's doing all those long guy lurch type reach underneath, just all that nonsense, which
starts the shit out of you,
which at least wraps his opponents up, slows them down, and can create scrambles. Congratulations.
It's fucking built up now. Huh?
I've been telling you to take a jiu-jitsu class, you just refuse.
You want some transparency? You want some fucking transparency here?
That's dude. Look at you. Wow, people are impressed.
Look at this. Look at the side. Wait, here, let's go side chest.
I wonder how many people just took the phone into the bathroom right now.
That banana guy.
Yeah, definitely. Sarpong or whatever is Tarpong. What is it? Okay, shut up. Anyway, Daniel Zellhuber's coming off that loss to Trey Ogden, where he was gun shy, but it was clear when he actually let his hands go that Daniel was the better striker in that matchup. This fight is basically dead even now. It opened with Zellhuber as a good size favorite. The line collapsed on itself. It was floating at -110, -110. Now it's bouncing a little bit. Zellhuber remains the very slight favorite, but again, this line tightened significantly. I still think Zellhuber is the pick. He's going to be my pick. I think Lando is probably the more well-rounded fighter overall, but Zellhuber's just more talented, has that relentless attack striking pace. And if he doesn't have the UFC jitters in this fight, let's say he shook him in the last fight, he should let his hands go. He should be technical, and he should be able to get this done. So I like Daniel Zellhuber to get it done. These are definitely much better odds than when it opened, and I absolutely understand the line movement because people don't know if they can trust them, whereas Lando Vannata, yeah, he's got 6 losses, but the dude shows up, puts in that work, and tries to get it done. This is probably another under 2.5 round line, honestly. This card... I actually might do an experiment very quickly. I might bet under 2.5 on every fight instead of the women's fights just to see what happens. Just to see. I'm not going to put it on premium, or maybe I'll put a note on there that, I don't want people to, I fucking lost everything because I can't read. So I might just, I might do that as an experiment because it's not very often you get this many 2.5 round lines. And frankly,
it's a live crowd.
And it's a live crowd in a real arena. And frankly, if there's 14 fights on a card, 12 male fights, I mean, 7 of them have to go finish, right? So I'll mess with that. I'll give it a shot and see what happens. Jakey boy, what do you think?
Yeah, this is going to be a very, very interesting fight because it all kind of determines and depends on what Daniel shows up to this fight. If it's the Daniel that he can be, I think he can kind of dominate this fight. I think, as Angelo mentioned, the long, rangy striker, very dynamic striker. When he does throw hands, he has very good success, and Lando is a guy that can get hit. The issue is, and what actually kind of works out better for Daniel is his loss to Trey Ogden. He basically lost because he just didn't do enough. I mean, he was just waiting and waiting for counter shots. Trey was not giving him enough to counter off of, so he just kind of sat there. And as I mentioned earlier with the fighter, with Gaston, there was really no sense of urgency to pick up the pace, right? Now I got to start doing stuff. So now it's like he still was just kind of waiting. And he's a young kid, 23, 24 years old, whatever he is, UFC debut. Trey did, look decent against Bahama Mama. So, it kind of helps his cause a little bit. Like, people are like, oh, this is a grappler Trey Ogden he lost to. But he held his own. Yeah, he held his own against Bahama Mama. So now it's like, okay, maybe Trey's a little bit better than we thought. It's going to come down to what Daniel shows up, because if he's just waiting, Lando Vannata is the perfect opponent to just kind of dance around. He's very fluid. He's in and out. I think he's the more well-rounded fighter. I think Daniel's a better striker, but Lando could easily just kind of in and out, boom, 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 boom. And if Daniel's not doing enough, he can definitely lose this decision. So Daniel's got to come in. He's got to let his hands go. He's got to trust his hands. I know he's a young kid in front of the live crowd. Again, that might affect him even more. He might freeze up, but I hope not. But Daniel is going to be the pick, because he is the better striker. But this is his last chance. I'm not going to put money on him because I can't trust him. If I'm trying to hope that somebody is going to come out aggressive, I can't put money on hopes and dreams, right? I need to see something, and that's what I'm putting money on. It might seem like I've been putting money on hopes and dreams, but normally the bets are based on stuff that I see in film. But I got to go with Daniel. I'm not going to put money on him until he can prove that he can let those hands go. If he does, I think he can have some real success. And if he doesn't, I think he can definitely lose this fight. That's why the odds kind of close where they are.
I agree. And you said hopes and dreams, but outside of his last fight in the UFC, that is how he fights. He comes out aggressive. So it's not absurd that he would come out aggressive.
And what worries me a little bit is because Trey is an awkward guy to fight because he really doesn't do a lot. And he's kind of like a weird. And Lando is also another kind of awkward guy to fight because he's just very fluid. I think his nickname's Groovy. Just kind of the way he's very in and out and fluid. So we'll see.
Yeah, and Daniel Zellhuber has 13 fights. In 12 of them, he came out fast and aggressive, so he may do that here. We're both on Zellhuber here. Sounds like you trust him a little less than I do. I think he's just... We're both needing him to do what we know he's capable of doing, and not
prove it to me.
Not just freeze up.
I would love to start putting money on it because I like him. It's just he's just got to prove it that he's got to do what he needs to do.
Well, and frankly, like I said, in his last fight with Trey Ogden, he was gun shy, but when he actually let his hands go, it was clear. It was very clear. Yeah. This guy's the much better striker.
I mean, his nickname's the Golden Boy, for God's sake.
He just didn't do anything with it. So, anyway, I just got distracted because of this comment. Lando's stomach muscles look like armadillo shells. Like, what the fuck? What is your brain doing?
They are like, he's flexing. I mean, that thing is flexed out. There might be some air. It's weird to have that defined abs with no chest. That's why it looks a little bit. It's like his chest is melting into his abs.
His belly sticks out farther than his chest. He's officially not jacked. Anyway,
he definitely doesn't have this side profile.
Okay, this again. $7,700 for Lando, $8,500 for Daniel Zellhuber. I do think if Zellhuber wins, it will be by finish. If Lando wins, I think he's just sort of point fighting or controlling a gun-shy Zellhuber. So I think Zellhuber is probably the better play in DraftKings. Even if you think Vannata wins, you're going to get him at a discount, but I don't think he'll win by finish, and I don't think he'll score that well. Next up, at UFC Kansas City, we have Piera Rodriguez taking on Gillian Robertson. Gillian Robertson is 11-7 overall, 2-3 in her last 5. She's coming off that submission win over Maria Agapova, and she's taking on undefeated Piera Rodriguez, who is coming off the decision win over Sam Hughes. And it was very Sam Hughes-esque fight, except Piera won the first 2 rounds and then gave up that third.
We'll see if she gets in trouble for mentioning that betting stuff, but you can't help but have respect for Sam Hughes. I mean, she just keeps beating the shit out of all these prospects. Yeah. And she's a fun girl. I mean, she's a cool girl.
Oh, and good for her because she sucked for a little bit, then went back, made adjustments, and now
she's everything that you want a fighter to be. Right?
Yeah.
There's so many of these fighters that just keep losing. They don't change. They just get stuck in their ways. She said, I need to make a change, and that's exactly what she did. And there's really nobody tougher than her, I don't think.
Not men that
or
division.
Women. Men or I literally don't think there's anyone tougher than Sam Hughes.
The things she survived are incredible. Anyway, let's talk about this fight.
All right.
Piera Rodriguez, she's a nasty striker, real finishing ability. She plots forward, lets her hands fly in what is more of a controlled brawl than anything because she goes. She commits, she lets it go, and she knows what she's doing, but it's not like a technical point kickboxing match, right? It's like she's bombing away, but she is being very... it's odd. It's reckless and not at the same time, but she will get in the pocket, bomb away, and look for that finish. She wings those punches, puts her hips into all of it. She is defensively sound on the ground as well. She's got plenty of takedown offense with 11 takedowns in 3 fights, but she got no control whatsoever. She'll take you down. You can weasel your way back out of there. She's taking on Gillian Robertson. Gillian Robertson is a grappler, primarily a wrestler. She has not had an easy road in the UFC. You see 11 wins and 7 losses there. Her 4 most recent losses were JJ Aldrich, Miranda Maverick, Tyler Santos, and Macy Barber.
By the way, I'm so glad you mentioned that name, Angela, because she has a fight coming up against my girl, Amanda Ebos, and she's
going to lose a bad decision.
Finally going to get put away. You will never hear about Macy ever again. Her arm is going to get ripped off her fucking shoulder by Amanda Ebos, and you guys can all thank me later. That might be a $3,000 bet on Amanda Ebos.
Well, the way judges see...
Oh, she's going to submit the shit out of Macy Barber. Submit the shit out of her.
Well, anyway, back to this fight. Gillian Robertson is a grappler. She gets the takedown. She's averaging about 2 per fight. And that is important in this matchup because Piera Rodriguez can separate Gillian's head from her body if Gillian's just going to stand with her. And I think this is a clear Pajeda pick. Like, I am shocked Gillian Robertson is the favorite. You're making that face. I'm surprised Gillian Robertson's the favorite. I think she's only the favorite because of that win over Rose at that grappling match on New Year's Eve. Who cares?
Dominated her.
Yeah, but Rose is like a head case, mental midget.
Pat's
I'm wrong.
I'm Pat hears this.
I actually spent some time with Pat in a locker room.
I bet you.
How
many
and super cool guy. Couldn't be a cool guy. But he's like a shy weirdo. Like just was like head down in the corner.
Was he grooming you?
Being a shy weirdo. No, there's a bunch of us there. I wasn't the one being groomed. Anyway, Gillian Robertson is very good, very dangerous grappler. We just saw it in her last fight, but I think she's going to struggle with Pereira's hands, so she's going to have a hard time closing the gap. I think she's going to struggle with the takedowns. Is you laughing at this fruit basket?
No. Nope. I read the comment, then I looked at her face and fuck it.
Okay.
Anyway,
I'll find it in a second. Anyway, I think Gillian needs the takedowns to win this fight. I think she's going to have a little bit harder time getting the takedowns than you think because she has to close the distance. And then even her takedowns are not spectacular. She took down Maria Agapova, submitted her, but it wasn't the easiest thing in the world. And Maria Agapova has less than no takedown defense. Jakey boy, what do you think?
The biggest surprise for me in breaking down this fight is don't look at it right now. Don't look at the graphic. Do you know how old Gillian Robertson is?
Now I do because I looked at the graphic, but I never would have thought that.
I would, if you would have asked me, I would have said 36, 37, and that has nothing to do with the way she looks. That's just because we've been breaking down her fights, right? She's been in the UFC, it seems like forever. It seems like everybody has fought Gillian Robertson at some point. She has all that experience, and she's still only 27 years old. So she literally isn't even in her prime of her career. She's going to keep improving. I think that's a big part of this fight because she's already just an incredible grappler. I got to imagine every single fight she's going to get better with the striking, got to get better with the wrestling, and I think that there is grappling in this match, and I think I trust Gillian to be able to win those sweeps against Rodriguez, who you mentioned can't really hold girls down, but will engage in the grappling. If you're Rodriguez, you cannot go to the ground. You cannot go to the ground with Gillian Robertson. If you go to the ground, you have to be a good control wrestler. That's how people beat Gillian. Yes, they will engage in the grappling, but they have good control. The girls that she's fought on the ground, Miranda Maverick, Macy Bar, whatever it is, have been able to control her on the ground or be able to defend her takedowns, because Gillian will shoot takedowns, but they're not the best takedowns. So defend hers or control her on the ground. And I just don't think Rodriguez will do either one of those. I think she will engage in the wrestling, try to win sweeps instead of defending takedowns, or work her own takedowns. And Gillian is just so good in scrambles, getting your back. And once she's on your back, she will not leave, and she will submit you. I mean, you mentioned the Rose, whatever, but I mean, she literally just boom, 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 and it's over. And all Rose had to worry about was being submitted. And there's other aspects now. I actually, I don't want to say I love Gillian's matchup because jiu-jitsu nerds, we've been burned time and time again, and that's exactly what she is. But I think this is a good matchup for her to get that done.
Yeah, I'm obviously on the other side here. I do have a small quarter of a unit bet on Pereira Rodriguez. I got a plus 102. You get a little bit better odds right now. Quarter unit. The unit for me is $100. 25. I threw $25 on it. They'll give me a little more than 50 back. I just think her hands are too good. She's too dangerous. And Gillian's takedowns are not like incredible. She has takedowns, obviously, but they're not. It's not like it's a guarantee
for her if people take her down, because she's very good at sweeps, even from the bottom. She's good at sweeps and stuff. Yeah, for her offensive wrestling, it's not great. And if this doesn't go to the ground, I agree. I think Rodriguez should dominate this fight.
Yeah, but she is coming down in weight. She's going to be big, and I tend to favor wrestlers normally because they can control where this fight goes. In order for this to stay standing and for Pereira to win, Pereira's takedown defense needs to be top notch, and if she makes one mistake, it could be a problem.
I think it's Piera because she's not Brazilian.
Yeah,
people are really letting you have it in the
anything's
chat
possible.
For culture insensitivity.
What about that?
Ooh, wow!
In the chat?
Now you're making fun of
speech
me with a mental
Yeah.
handicap.
It's more than just mental; it's physical as well. Show them
People
the legs.
People are asking me after this weekend, are you a handicapper? No, I'm just handicapped.
Anyway, so you and I are split on this one as well. The odds have flipped. A couple fights on this card. Gillian Robertson opened as an underdog, now became a favorite. If last week told us anything, it's to follow that line movement. Follow the actual line movement, not the opening odds. So do what you want with that line movement tracker. If you want to see that breakdown, that line movement for every single fighter on this card, you're going to get the opening line, the current line, the implied probability, and what percentage that line has moved. That is all available to premium members right now at WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 a month, even if you don't care about the bets at all. Between the line movement tracker, the DraftKings optimizer, the 38 columns of detailed data and metrics, all of that is worth far more than there's people that sell
even
a
if you just want
spreadsheet.
To support the channel. We've had people reach
Literally
out and
just
hey,
to support
I
the
don't even
channel,
use the premium. I'm not a bettor, but I enjoy the show. And here's $10 a month to show support for the channel. And we appreciate those probably more than anyone, honestly, because they get nothing in return.
And it is only $100 a year. If you buy a full year up front, it's $100. You get yourself a discount there. WeOwnPicks.com, all of that on the website. Just click become a member.
Can I read that comment?
What comment?
Before we go to the next one, that way it's not in that video when you cut them up. Go back to the last slide with Piera, if you don't mind. Now the comment said, and I read this and I looked at her face.
Oh, the
I'm looking at her right
thing?
now. Yeah, Piera looks like you just
that.
asked her to do anal.
I did see that.
Like,
I did see that.
Are you serious right now? It's like so annoying. After the day I just had.
After the day I just had.
You realize what I had for lunch?
Oh, Jesus. Next up at UFC Kansas City, we have Zak Cummings taking on Ed Herman. Zak Cummings, 24-7 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, coming back after more than 2 full years away. And he's taking on legend Ed Herman, 24-15 overall, 3-2 in his last 5.
That's Uncle
and
Ed.
He's coming. He looks.
That's Uncle Ed, baby.
He's coming back after a year
Damn it.
and a half away. Damn it, what?
Kind of looks like me, right? Should have kept the beard.
You will not be aging well. That does look like...
We're almost the same age. How good am I doing, huh?
Well, that's what happens when you stay indoors.
I actually got a nice tan.
Actually, the last time you went outside, you got fucking cancer. So, yeah. Stay inside. Anyway, Ed Herman is a legitimate MMA veteran. This guy has 40 professional fights over a 20-year pro career. Early in his career, he beat Glover Teixeira. In 2005, I was training with Glover in bumfuck Newtown, Connecticut, where I'm from, in the wrestling gym, and he went off that weekend to fight Ed Herman. Nobody knew who Ed Herman was. Came back, lost. But that was one of the fights that got him discovered by Chuck Liddell's team, and they're like, wow, you're tough, you're great, we can make you something. Anyway, Ed Herman's tried and true vet, been around forever, fought some of the best to do it. He is on the wrong side of 40, meaning he's over 40. I said that in my quick picks video, he's on the wrong side of 40, and somebody was like, you idiot, you don't even know what it means. You're going to say wrong side of 40 in a video not knowing what it means? It means older than 45. It's like, what? That means wrong side of 45, you
Those
dumb
are the same
dick.
people. It's like, where's the transparent thing?
Like, I saw that comment. Actually, Josh, our web guy, sent it to me, and I saw that, and I was like, this person literally took the time to be that aggressively
this person
wrong.
Somehow has a driver's license and an actual job, and somehow gets through life just being that fucking stupid. And there's a lot of people out there like that. You just look at them like, how do you even do anything? How do you pay your tax? How do you do anything in your life?
It's not even, was he atrociously wrong? Wrong side of 40 means you're over 40. Everybody knows that. Atrociously wrong. He then took the time to get on his phone, clenching his teeth. How could you say that? You don't even know what it means. Send. I'm the best. I can't wait to see how many likes I get on that comment. It's very bizarre behavior. Anyway, Ed Herman, all the things. Primarily a grappler, right? He wants to come forward. He'll strike, but he wants to get it to the ground. He's old. He's slow, but he is tough. He's got all the veteran craftiness and tough. I'm going to emphasize tough. He just went the distance with Alonzo Menafield, who is an absolute savage, about a year and a half ago. He's taking on Zak Cummings. Zak Cummings coming back after 2 years away from really serious back injuries. He didn't just take some time off. He had some legitimate back injuries. He's sort of a pot shot striker. He's going to throw one thing at a time. He does have some power. He's also not particularly fast. And he doesn't really throw combinations, but if he does see blood, he is just going to bomb lefts and try to get you out of there. And if he is on the wrong side of some exchanges, he can work in some takedowns as well. This is these odds are very, very interesting to me, to have somebody who's coming back after 2 years away from very serious injuries as a more than 2-1 favorite against, yes, an older guy. Ed Herman is 42. How old do you think Zak Cummings is?
I bet he's on the right side of 40.
He's on the right side of 40. He's 38. Like, these odds for a 38-year-old with some serious injuries who hasn't fought in 2.5 years just seem a little bizarre to me. I'm still going to pick Zak Cummings because, Ed Herman is a little older, is a little slower. Neither guy has fought in the last year. Neither one's young. Neither one is like just naturally athletic or fast. This is going to be a sloppy fight. Absolutely nobody should bet on this fight under any circumstances whatsoever. Zak's going to be the pick literally because of those 4 years of youth. But the reality is this is a crazy fight on a good card. Ed Herman's too tough to get finished, so I'm definitely not betting Zak. I'm not pitting Zak. Putting Zak in my lineup, but he'll be the pick. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah. I think it should have been the co-main. I think this fight should have been the goddamn co-main. I mean, this is the old. You want to talk about old school? This is probably the last fight we have left of like the old school UFC kind of brawling style, because that's exactly what kind of both these guys are. Zak a little bit more technical, but I mean, Ed Herman is just that hands low, just gonna eat a shot. Just throw one back. Doesn't give a shit about anything. Tough as nails. As Angel mentioned, the Alonzo Menifield fight was eating some shots, hung in there. But there was nothing that I can bring from that. I mean, I watched that fight, and I kind of wanted something, right? Because this, if you're ever going to be Ed Herman, this is a great matchup for you. I mean, for everyone that you can fight in the 205 division, this is probably the only one that's a little bit winnable. So I thought, okay, let me watch this fight to try to find something that I can grab to say, okay, if he can bring this to this fight, from Alonzo to Zak Cummings, he can win this fight. And I watched that fight, and I was like, toughness. I mean, it's all it was. I mean,
very tough.
I mean, yeah, very tough. There's no speed. There was no power. There was no footwork. There was no rest. There was nothing where I was like, okay, at least he did this well. He was just tough. I mean, and he will bring this to the fight. And anything can happen with two tough guys, two old guys start throwing these haymakers around. It might be a sloppy fight. Go to the judges. And who knows, as we mentioned before, Missouri judges, not Kansas judges. I'm going with Zak Cummings. As you mentioned, this should be the play. Layoff is a concern. Ed is tough as shit. I mean, that's really kind of the only breakdown here. If you want to try and get more technical with it, God bless you for it. But, you know, I'll be rooting for Ed. I'll be rooting for Ed.
How can we not? Especially if you're an old school UFC fan. I've been watching this a lot longer than you, obviously. And
whoa.
I watched Ed on the show. I'm a big Ed Herman fan, big Ed Herman guy, and he had a great career at one point. At one point, he was doing really, really well, had himself a solid career. But you know, this is not a forgiving sport. You know what I mean? This isn't. I mean, freaking Odell Beckham somehow is bouncing between
Phil
teams.
Mickelson nearly won the Masters at 53. Is he 53? Yeah. Seems like he's older than that.
Well, and like, you know, just Odell Beckham, he's just bouncing between teams for some reason, somehow, in also an unforgiving sport. But MMA is even more relentless than that. But I'll be rooting for Ed, as will you. But I think Zak is probably going to get this done, just for being a little younger, a little faster. But 2 years away, back injuries. It's going to be sloppy. It might be really fun. But no bets here. Definitely not going to touch DraftKings. I'm not spending $9,600 on Zak Cummings when Ed Herman is tough. Alonzo Menifield couldn't get him out of there. I don't see Zak Cummings doing. Alonzo Menifield hits like a freight train.
Yeah, that's a wild, like I said in the chat. He might be the least owned person definitely this week, but maybe of all time. $9,600 for a guy like Zak Cummings. It's like,
actually, I think we do DraftKings ownership projections. We have a full DraftKings cheat sheet. You're going to get ownership, leverage. You're going to get an optimizer, all that stuff. Our ownership, I don't talk about it enough. Our ownership projections are literally statistically the best in this game, better than Roto Grinders and all these massive companies. We got a guy, there's two Joshes that work here. We've got one of them is working on stats. That's what he does. He puts together the 38 column spreadsheet. He puts together the cheat sheets. He does the ownerships. He puts those together. He has like 7 or 8 different sources. Then he weights those sources against each other. So our ownership projections for DraftKings are our own number. There's not, if anybody else has our numbers, they literally bought it and copied it, just like that dude who stole my safety parlay and tweeted it like it was his own.
This son of a bitch.
And now everybody thinks he's a genius because that safety parlay crushed.
There was probably a lot of people that were stealing my pay-per-view bets too, because I was killing pay-per-views and they just got fucking destroyed, thinking I'm just gonna win because I was winning. I mean, I won 20, 15, like 10 in the 3 of the last 4 pay-per-views. I was on like 40 fucking units. So there's probably people like, oh, he's gonna kill it. Here, buy my bets. Here's my premium. Buy my bets. And they got fucking destroyed. So it might work out in the long run for us.
We'll see what happens. But anyway, our ownership numbers are fantastic. Last week, I think Chase Sherman might be the lowest owned fighter in history because he was $8,800.
Oh yeah.
Against a guy that was going to murder. He was $8,800 as a plus 350 underdog, but didn't end up working out that way. WeOnPicks.com if you want to unlock all of the fantasy premium content. It's included with everything. It's $10 for literally
Izzy's in here.
everything.
Holy shit.
That's incredible.
Holy shit.
Next up, at UFC Kansas City, we have what might be the most exciting fight on this card. We got Brandon Royval taking on Matheus Nicolau. Brandon Royval, 14-6 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, coming off the submission win over Matt Schnell last year. And he's taking on Matheus Nicolau, 19-2.
Is it Matheus? I would say Matheus, but I don't know.
Matheus, who the hell knows?
I'm not fluent yet.
The problem is you can't even watch. Like, you have to listen to John Anik. He will say it correctly every time, but DC says it the way I say it.
Yeah,
he's just saying whatever the hell he wants.
We were doing Portuguese review on the live stream Saturday. It was a lot of fun.
Sounds like a blast. 19-2 overall. He's 5-0 in his last 5. He's also coming off a win over Matt Schnell just 3 months ago. Royval, we've seen this name a million times. He's one of the most exciting guys you're going to watch in the UFC. Always looking for a finish, but he has plenty of cardio. He can fight for 15 full minutes. He just never does. He's dangerous on his feet, diverse striking, great speed, solid grappling with tricky submissions, and he's just willing to chase them. He will put himself in harm's way to try to snatch up a submission. Brandon Royval is a problem for a lot of people, but he is kill or be killed with all but one of his UFC fights ending by finish. And he's taking on Matheus Nicolau, who's a good, clean striker, incredibly technical, but also a competent grappler as well. He's got 10 takedowns in 7 UFC wins. When he gets you to the ground, he's going to, unlike Brandon Royval, he's going to take his time, stick with control, work from one thing to another, instead of like Brandon, who literally is just chasing, can get reversed and just, make a bad decision.
He's like a little Ryan Hall down there.
He is like a little Ryan Hall down there. He's on a 6-fight win streak. And again, coming off that win over Matt Schnell, I love Nicolau here. This should be an incredible fight between two really fun, fast-paced guys. I do have a bet on Nicolau for premium. And I think Brandon's going to be the more dangerous guy overall, but I think Nicolau's going to be able to control that pace, stay out of the danger, and just piece up Brandon Royval with just his technical striking. My premium bet on him was a half a unit, because I'm a little more gun shy than Jacob. A half a unit money line. I got it at minus 155. Woo. He's now minus 208. Those are incredible odds.
That really is.
If you're a premium member, you saw those odds, and frankly, the difference between minus 155 and whatever this line closes at pays for premium. That right there is if it wins. If it loses, then my bad. If it wins, that gap right there pays for premium. So Nicolau's the pick. Got a bet on him. Jakey boy, what do you think?
Yeah, I think everyone would admit that they're fans of Brandon Royval. Jesus Christ. All right, can we start this over? Go ahead. Let's just start the whole thing over if you don't mind.
Jacob and I are going to break down all of our picks and bets. Go ahead.
So I think we're all fans of Brandon. And I'm excited for this matchup because he finally is going to fight Nicolau. I mean, there are so many people that get in the cage and they don't want to fight Nicolau because he's just such a good counter striker. He's a very fast, precise, powerful counter striker. When people get in front of him, they wait for him to throw because they want to counter off him. But he's such a high IQ fight, guys. He doesn't mind waiting. He will wait. But finally, we have a guy, Brandon Royval, who's going to get in his face because Brandon Royval, as Angel mentioned, kill or be killed. He doesn't give a shit if he goes to the ground. If he gets knocked down, he will still try to roll out of positions. He's going to get in Nicolau's face, and we're going to find out if Nicolau can handle the pressure because even if he drops Royval, the fight's not over. Royval has won fights where he gets dropped and he wins scrambled. Nicolau is going to have to be on his P's and Q's this entire fight because Royval will do wild shit on the feet, on the ground. He's got to be careful. Now, Nicolau, I think, is definitely the better fighter. Nicolau is a champion-level fighter. I believe he can be champion. Last time I've said this, by the way. Every time I say this about a guy, they end up losing. But I am a little bit biased. I'm a big fan of Nicolau. He is the boyfriend of Luana, who really kind of fucking pissed me off this past weekend. But he's a champion-level fighter, and he's going to have to show it in this matchup because Royval is a very dangerous guy. There is a world. I don't think Royval is going to hurt Nicolau on the feet. He's just way too technical. He stays safe. He keeps his range. He has great footwork. So I think it's going to come down to Nicolau either engaging in the wrestling if he wants to, I don't know why he would, or hurting Royval. Now there's a scramble, and Royval loves those scrambles. Weirder things have happened than Royval finding a submission in a scramble versus a guy like Nicolau. But he is also a very, very good grappler. He knows what's going on down there. So I got to go Nicolau all the way in this matchup. As Angel mentioned, Royval is kill or be killed. Unfortunately, I do think he ends up getting killed in this matchup. So I got, full transparency here. You want a free fucking premium bet? I did it inside the distance. Nicolau. There you go. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think. Well, first of all, shut the fuck up with the premium bets.
Well,
okay,
full transparency. We gotta be transparent.
Not beforehand.
You gotta
not
be fucking
before.
transparent. Wait, he said. Hold on a second. He said his bet. He didn't say how many units. He didn't say how many units.
Transparency is after, not before. We're selling stuff here. And you mentioned Brandon Royval gets knocked down here and get up again.
When I get up again, you're never gonna keep me down. I got knocked down. When I get up again, you're never gonna keep me down. Pissing the night away. Pissing the night away. He drinks a whiskey drink. He drinks a vodka drink. He drinks a lager drink. He drinks a tongue drink. He drinks a tongue that remind him of the good times. He drinks a tongue that remind him of the best times.
Brandon Royval was dropped by Matt Schnell in that last fight before he ended up getting that win. So if Nicolau cracks him, pounces, could end up in harm's way accidentally. So if you want to unlock the rest of our premium bets and not the ones that Jacob just keeps, you know what you do in the live stream too, that I don't say anything. Jacob's very sensitive. A lot of you guys don't know this. The reason I don't go in on him when he has bad weekends is because I literally get angry.
It's my fault.
I get angry text messages.
People were like attacking you.
Oh, I caught so many strays for your bullshit.
It literally is my fault. He didn't talk about my bets because he knew I'd get upset because I have in the past about him talking about my bets. So he just didn't want to piss me off and in turn pissed off the entire fucking internet. Holy shit.
That is literally what happens. I caught a bunch of strays because I didn't want to be. I was like, it's my video. I'm going to talk about my bets. I'm not going to be like, Jacob sucks, but I didn't. So I just ignored it because Jacob has sent me nasty text messages in the past. Anyway, I lost my entire point.
I know. It was I had something to say too, and I don't remember what you were talking about either.
I lost my entire point.
Hold on. Let me rewind the stream because I had a good thing I was going to say, I think. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, there's the music. Oh, there's
there's me singing.
Hold on,
I'm waiting. Still waiting.
Yeah, I think it's right here. Hold on, chat. If you want to unlock the rest of our premium bets. Oh, you know what you do in the live stream. Yeah. No, and I'll say what I put my premium bets before the fight starts.
Yeah.
No, I actually got a lot better at that. I used to do it like
I watched the whole live stream. It was on there every time.
After I do it like right when the fight, like when the books are closed, like they're announcing the fighters when I start showing them now. But before, because I knew that before, because I was like, holy shit, people can just look at all the premium bets right before and place it. So I wait until it's like the books are closed, like right when they're doing an introduction.
Because I was watching,
and then I'll show them.
I was watching. I'm like, this motherfucker, and I didn't send the text because you get very pissy.
Well, I don't have my phone on silent because I'm a professional. People want to say I'm unprofessional. Try again, pal.
Well, WeWantPicks.com. Unlock all the bets before Jacob just gives them away anyway. Next up at UFC Kansas City, we have Bill Algeo taking on TJ Brown. Bill Algeo 16-7. Overall 3-2 in his last 5. Coming off the split decision loss to Andre Touchy Feely. TJ Brown is 17-9 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, coming off the submission win over Eric Silva. This is going to be a really, really fun fight. There's 3 or 4 fights on this card that are going to be absolute bangers. This is one of them. TJ Brown is a high-paced fighter. He's got solid striking, very good grappling. He averages almost 4 takedowns per fight. His takedown accuracy is just okay at 56%. What? The accuracy is just okay at 56%. Is that what you're gasping at?
No, I just burped. I didn't know you heard that. Oh my God.
It's an absolute joke. His takedown accuracy is just okay at 56%, but he's got no problems just sort of taking a shot, realizes it's not there. He will back out, reset, shoot it all over again, and then get those takedowns going. He's got a very high takedown success rate. He's getting a lot of takedowns per fight, but his defense is trash. It's absolute trash. He has a 38% takedown defense. He's been taken down 13 times in 7 fights. He's coming off that win over Eric Silva where he was taken down 3 times in that fight, but was able to snatch up a submission win. And he's taking on Bill Algeo. Bill Algeo's a busy striker. He's kind of got that karate style with his stance and his hand placement. Because of that, he has a solid defense and surprisingly high output of almost 6 significant strikes per minute. He does like a dirty stand-up war if he can keep it there. He has some okay takedowns. They're not, they're decent, they're well-timed, but his percentage is very low at 38%. 55% takedown defense, but he is a BJJ black belt. He's got great cardio, fast-paced, very durable guy. And again, he's coming off that close loss to Andre Fili. This is another one with some very interesting line movement. Obviously, the favorite stayed the favorite, the underdog stayed the underdog, but it widened greatly, and I'm just surprised by that because TJ Brown has good striking and relentless wrestling. And I get it. Bill Algeo's a BJJ black belt, but TJ Brown's a very good grappler himself. So I don't know what people think is going to happen here. I personally think TJ Brown's going to win this fight. I'm surprised TJ Brown's the underdog to begin with, let alone a 2-1 underdog now. I've got a quarter of a unit on him. I got it at plus 140, so I'm an idiot. Go get it at plus 180. I think TJ Brown is going to get the wrestling going, is going to get the takedowns, can avoid whatever submissions Bill Algeo is going to throw up. And that's it. Like, yeah, Bill Algeo beat Herbert Burns, but TJ Brown's not Herbert Burns. So I'm on TJ Brown here. I think he gets it done. Only a quarter of a unit because sometimes I let the odds scare me, and that's what happened here. What do you think, Jakey boy?
That is surprising, I will say. Like, I mean, people, I don't know if sometimes people don't know. I don't really know your picks, or you don't know my picks until we start talking about these live because we want a very organic kind of discussion. It's not like anything's predetermined, and I would have never thought in a million years that you were going to pick TJ Brown. I'm going to pick him, and just like I told you guys with the Yanez, I'm getting destroyed all week for the Yanez pick, but I told you guys that's a biased pick. I love Adrian Yanez. I've always loved Adrian Yanez. I said it was a biased pick. He follows me on Twitter. We had interaction on Twitter. He's a great guy. That was a biased pick. I'm picking TJ Brown because it's a biased pick. As Ansel's shirt shows, I have my thing with Arkansas Wrestling. He is one of the original Arkansas Wrestlers with Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell kind of shit the bed, but TJ Brown's looking pretty good. Now, I'm worried about this fight because if there's anything that happens with TJ Brown is he does get worn down. And if there's anything that happens with Bill Algeo in his fights is he can wear people down. And that's kind of how he can win fights. It's kind of out tough people, wear them down, and then kind of take over lately. And that's kind of the recipe for disaster for a guy like TJ Brown. But as you mentioned, the Herbert Burns fight, he won that. He was almost submitted. Andre Fili fight. Yeah, he lost that. And I don't know how Andre Fili did not submit him in the 3rd round. They're all bloody hit. I mean, I sent a picture in the Discord today. I mean, completely under the neck. All he had to do was connect his hands. Just didn't do it for whatever reason. I think I was live streaming that card. I think I had it inside the... I was losing my fucking mind. Could have submitted him there. TJ Brown not only is a good wrestler. He can get out wrestled. I agree with that. But his offensive wrestling is very good. He's always looking for submissions. He's a very aggressive submission guy on the ground. He will lose positions and get out scrambled because he's chasing submissions. And yes, that's dangerous against a guy like Bill Algeo, who is also well-versed on the ground. I think he can control those positions. I think he can. I've seen Bill Algeo get out grappled, get out scrambled, and TJ Brown is that guy to do it. So I think that this gets to the ground, and TJ can win the scrambles. If he doesn't get it done in the first 2 rounds, I'm very worried. I mean, this could be a live bet situation to where he kind of dominates the first round, threatens submissions, kind of controls the first half of the second round, but you see him start to fade. But because he's been so dominant, he might be minus 300, minus 400. At that point, you might live bet Bill Algeo because TJ Brown will probably fade with all the wrestling in the 3rd rounds. I can't really trust him in the 3rd round, but I'm going to pick him. And it is biased, but... you seem a little bit more confident in me, which I'm proud of that. I mean, you're all in with the Arkansas wrestling shirt and everything. I appreciate that.
No, great. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. This whole time I thought I was live on TikTok. We're not. What an absolute joke. Jeez. Well, we're on the same side here.
There you go.
While I trash Arkansas wrestling,
is he going to be your lock of the week?
I don't do gimmicks. I just feel like it's compensating for something.
Well, I think that you probably should start because I might be done. I might be done. I'm fucking 0-3 this past week. In full transparency, 0-3 lock of the week. I think that's like fucking 9 out of 10 losses in a row or something. Holy
it's bad.
Shit! But I feel good about this week. I've never been so confident.
Good for you. Just honestly, just call it loss of the week and go from there.
I've done that.
Just start picking a loser.
Literally, the thumbnails were literally right before I keep saying like, oh, we're about to start a streak, because before the 10-fight win streak, I literally lost like 4 out of 5. We called it loss of the week. My thumbnail said loss of the week. But we'll see. Fade it and make money. I don't give a shit.
I mean, it's been working. Anybody who parlayed your 3 fades did well.
Yeah.
Did well. Anyway, we're both on a TJ Brown side. I love him at $7,400. Bill Algeo, the chat is a 50-50 split. There's a whole bunch of people literally writing the exact same thing. Algeo gets it done. TJ Brown gets it done. The chat's 50-50 split. This will be a really fun fight. Neither one of these guys have quit in them. They're both going to go. They're both going to pressure. They're both going to try to work their game plans. Yes, Red. Can I help you with something?
You talking to me?
Yeah, you're the red one.
I don't know what you mean. Because the lighting or something? I was in the sun a little bit there.
No, your skin is red. Your hair is red. I think you may be an albino. Your eyes are red.
I got the bluest eyes you've ever seen.
Did you have something to actually say?
I did, yeah. I was going to say that I forgot to mention the Matheus Brandon Royval fight. How is that not on the main card? Does anyone know how that is not on the main card? I have all the respect for Clay Guida, where I think is the next fight. Get him the fuck off the main card and that's a big fight for the division. It's a fun fight. I mean, I have no idea how that's not on the main card.
I agree with you. But this should be the Nicolau fight. Should be there's a couple of really good fights on this card.
I think this is the feature prelim, right? It should be if it's not.
It is.
This is going to be a great fight. But I mean, Clay and Rafa should be. I mean, they should
feature prelim.
Those.
They should flip flop these. I agree. With you. Especially when it's a pay per view, you get more eyes on the feature prelim than the pay per view fight. But when it's not a pay per view, the later the better. Frankly, is just how that works. Anyway, WeWantPicks.com for everything you can unlock, all of our bets, all of our picks, the DraftKings Optimizer, and even our third analyst on the board, Artem, who's breaking down LFA, Cage Warriors, and PFL this week. His stuff is up there right now, this minute, if you want to check out those events. TJ Brown, I'm going to be waiting for those takedown prop bets to drop, and we're going to see what happens there. Guys, if you want $50, just go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Mid-roll.
What the fuck is this? Wow. Look at this.
$50.
I just closed out the stream. I fucking left.
WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our betting partners, and we will send you $50. It's affiliate marketing. They're going to send me money. I'm going to send you some money. Very, very similar. Break off what they give us and give some of it to you so we can all grow and make money together. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit. We'll send you $50 as a thank you. We have a $5 super chat from Alan. Jake deserves some slack for last week. He's been on a roll for a while now. Best $10 just for the DFS ownership. So says Mike Hunt. Thank you very much, Alan. Nice try. I have evolved as a human being very, very much. Next up at UFC Kansas City, we have the main card opener. We have Clay Guida taking on Rafa Garcia. Clay Guida, 38-22 overall. 3-2 in his last 5, coming off the close win over Scott Holtzman. He's taking on Rafa Garcia, 15-3 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, and he's coming off the win over Mahachete. And Clay Guida is a straight-up legend. Dude has 60 professional fights. He's on the, what side of 40 do you think he's on?
I want to say, is he 45? Because I know when you say the right side of 40, I think that means 45. I'm going to say he's on the right side of 40. Because like 43?
He's on the wrong side of 40. He's 41 years old. The wrong side.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm a fucking idiot, so I thought.
It's fine. There's a lot of idiots that don't understand what that saying means. Anyway, Clay Guida is 41 years old. He has 60 fights on his record as a professional. I think he's still a full-time carpenter. He sets a relentless pace with his striking, with his wrestling. The guy comes forward, has a phenomenal chin. Definitely a little suspect with his submission defense. And he is starting to slow down, but even even Clay Guida at 75% can match most people at their 100, and he's just going to go and go and go and Energizer Bunny it. He's taking on Rafa Garcia, who's a very good grappler. He's got heavy hands, and he is a dog. He's an absolute dog. He will fight half dead. He will be completely gassed and just keep coming. He is not Raul Rosas. He's not just tired and desperate looking for things to happen. He will come forward and try to make them happen. He's still pushing, still chasing a knockout. He is very dangerous, and he is a grappler at his core with 7 submission wins, but he's got legit power in his hands, and a lot of those submissions were set up with his hands. He's coming off that win over Mahashete. He had 6 takedowns, 6 minutes of control time. We've made a lot of money on Rafa Garcia in the past. I've picked him many, many times. Picked him in his UFC debut against Natan Levy, or Natan Levy's UFC debut. And I'm a big Rafa fan. I think he can get it done. We have seen instances where his cardio was hot garbage. And if somebody's going to expose your cardio, it's going to be a Clay Guida, right? He's just going to keep coming. He's not a guy you're just going to get out of there. Even the submissions, he's not necessarily taken down and submitted. He's getting caught in scrambles. He's doing dumb things, or it's, people that are phenomenal grapplers. So the reality is Rafa Garcia is going to win this fight. He's probably going to get the takedowns. He's going to bomb away in his feet. And he's going to beat a 41-year-old Clay Guida. But I'm not spending the money because I just, crazier things have happened. And Clay Guida can still beat some of these people just with pressure and pace. And if he's just coming forward like crazy, and all of a sudden you get some Kansas City judges that are like, well, this guy was moving forward, it could be a weird decision. But Rafa's definitely the pick. If you guys want to bet on him, I'm not going to argue with that. That's probably a pretty safe bet. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I kind of agree that the odds have kind of gotten away from us. Those opening odds, I think, are really good value. Minus 260. I do kind of worry about the cardio, as you mentioned, because Clay Guida, as you said, is a guy that will make you work. The issue with Clay Guida is, and the people that kind of beat Clay Guida are the people that either have good power that can kind of neutralize him, or they neutralize him with the offensive wrestling, the offensive grappling, and that's how you kind of slow him down, because Clay Guida is best when he's boom, 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 in and out, threatening his own takedowns, but really kind of in and out bouncing, doing kind of that point fighting, and then we'll throw kind of some overhand rights as well. And Rafa is that perfect guy to come in, get the takedown, slow it down, control the pace of the fight, and then all the craziness of Clay Guida goes away. And without the craziness of Clay Guida, he's kind of just another fighter. I mean, he's still going to work off his back, and he's still going to try to get out of positions. He's never going to stop, but he becomes kind of because that's what makes Clay Guida, is the in and out, the weird stuff. And when you can neutralize that, he's just kind of another fighter. I think that's what Rafa does. The bet I've been looking at, and the bet I've been considering, is the minus 3.5. It's plus money. I think that could end up being the best value on the card. The issue is, if he doesn't find that finish, and he has those cardio issues, I can see him dropping the third round, because Clay's not going to stop. Clay down 2 rounds, knows he's down 2 rounds. He's going to come out. He's going to try and get a finish. He wants to win. He's not in there just to kind of hang out. He wants to win these fights. He's been winning these type of fights. So I worry about that, but that could end up being the best value on the card. I can't remember. There was somebody else. Was it Loma? I think it was Loma that I put at plus money at the minus 3.5, and I said, listen, this is going to be the best value on the card. End up being it. This could end up being it. I don't know if I'm going to play it yet, become a premium member. We'll see. But yeah, this should be a Rafa fight, but I worry about the minus 3.5, I would say. The complete domination.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Clay Guida is just going to keep coming. But he does have a couple of weird losses lately. I mean, he's old. He's 41 with 60 professional fights.
He's going to take chances. And when you take chances, stuff happens.
So Rafa Garcia is the pick for both of us, $9,500. Again, that implies he wins by finish. And yes, Clay Guida has been finished many times, but he's not getting knocked out. And even when he's getting submitted, who is it? Puelas? You know what I mean? He's getting submitted by like some of these grappling savages or caught in weird scrambles. Rafa Garcia's probably going to beat him with takedowns control, so might be worth that $9,500, but I don't necessarily think he's going to get a quick takedown stoppage. Next up at UFC Kansas City, we have Pedro Munoz taking on Chris Gutierrez. Pedro Munoz, 19-7 overall. Only 1-3-1 in his last 5, but he's coming off that eye poke no contest with Sean O'Malley. He's taking on Chris Gutierrez, 19-3 overall, 4-0-1 in his last 5, and he's coming off that retirement knockout win over Frankie Edgar. Pedro Munoz, a busy striker, a very good striker, sets a nonstop pace. He has really, really nice leg kicks. Very dangerous BJJ, but he just doesn't look to take it to the ground, right? He's not really offensive wrestling people to get it to the ground. He does have a negative striking differential, which is surprising because when you're watching him fight, he does seem like he's in control and not being hit more than he's hitting other people. We talk about sort of his spotty record as of late, but the reality is he lost to Dominic Cruz, former champion, Jose Aldo, former champion, Frankie Edgar, former champion, Aljamain Sterling, current champion. So he's losing to champs and former champs. He is coming off that loss to Sean O'Malley, or the no contest to Sean O'Malley. He won that first round. He did it with leg kicks. He just chopped up Sean O'Malley's leg. The tide seemed to be turning, and then Pedro Munoz bailed. He was like, I'm done. And then, I got poked in the eye. It felt like he took the easy way out, but he did win that first round. Taking on Chris Gutierrez. Chris Gutierrez is a very good kickboxer. He also has great low kicks, good cage control, solid volume, good cardio, can keep a solid pace. No surprise with his game plan. He wants to come forward, blast your legs, and then throw straight shots at your head. Takedown defense is solid at 73%. And then I mentioned he's coming off that knockout win over Frankie Edgar, which, great, you knocked out Frankie Edgar, but Frankie Edgar was 40 some odd years old. I like Chris Gutierrez to get the win. I think he's the spot here. Minus 207. Honestly, those odds are probably solid. It looks like they tightened a bit. He opened at minus 235. I think he's going to be fast. May not be the straight up more technical guy because Pedro Munoz is pretty technical, but he's going to be faster and he's going to have way more power. Way more power, faster, younger, busier. Yes, Pedro's losses are all to former champions, and that may be like a Dan Ige moment here where he was 1-4 and then got that win together. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. I think Chris Gutierrez sort of comes forward, pressures, does what he wants to do, and I do like Pedro Munoz quite a bit, but that Sean O'Malley no contest just makes it feel like Pedro Munoz, he's probably seen sort of his best days in the highest level of competition. So Chris Gutierrez is the pick, and those 2-1 odds, I go back and forth if they're a little wide or not, but I think we should be good. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I can't believe the odds are what they are right now. When I broke down this fight, obviously I break down the fight, so I'm not looking at the odds. I'm not letting that influence my decisions, and then I make my decision, and then I look at the odds, and I thought that this would have been minus 250, obviously it started at like minus 250, but I thought this would be minus 300, getting pushed to minus 350 for this fight, because Chris Gutierrez I think he's the absolute truth for this division. I know I kind of said that about Yanez, so this is also going to come back and fucking bite me in the ass, maybe. The crazy part, which we learned today, Angelo, is that Chris Gutierrez fought Aaron Phillips, who was in the opener, and in that fight, there was issues with the doors, like the receiving doors, because it was in a warehouse or something like that, and they fought in 30-degree weather. They just couldn't close the doors to get the heat on there. Like, well, you're still going to fight. I have no idea what they were wearing in there, but somehow Aaron Phillips got hurt in that fight because it's so goddamn cold. 30 degrees. Could you imagine having an MMA fight in 30 degrees? I mean, I know I was doing that in the streets of Indiana. I was slanging out everybody. Anyone can come get it on me. Pop, pop, putting people down in the snow, making that shit red. But that was a crazy thing to read, fighting at 30-degree weather. But I think he's the real deal. I think he's going to be the much better, not the better striker. Pedro is very, very technical. Probably has the ground advantage, but as Angel mentioned, doesn't really have a way to get it to the ground. I think he needs to use his grappling if he wants to win this fight, because Chris Gutierrez is such a dynamic striker. And I think the technicality of Pedro Munoz is going to be his downfall here. He's a little bit too technical for a guy like Chris Gutierrez. To fight Chris Gutierrez, you kind of have to be a little bit more loosey-goosey in your strike. You can't just shell up. He will take advantage. He will get the strikes around your guard. And I think that's what he does here. And honestly, if there wasn't, obviously Rob Font that way, I don't think Rob Font should fight down again, but I would love to see Chris Gutierrez against Rob Font. I think that would be a fun fight. And if not Rob Font, I think they might match up Chris Gutierrez with Adrian Yanez, and that would be absolutely insane. I honestly think that he might be able to beat Adrian Yanez as much as I love Yanez. But Chris Gutierrez, I think he absolutely dominates this fight. Just because you've never been finished, and Pedro Munoz, people will be like, oh, nobody's ever finished him, doesn't mean you can't get finished. If there was anyone that can finish Pedro Munoz, it's going to be Chris Gutierrez, man. I think he gets it done.
Yeah, we're both on the Chris Gutierrez side for sure. I don't necessarily think he's going to win by finish, but I do think he's going to get it done. $9,400 in DraftKings. If you think he's going to win by finish, then he's absolutely worth that money. This is a weird card. I'm not super ridiculously confident in a lot of people. Chris Gutierrez is probably one of my more confident guys. So I'm going to go ahead, probably throw him in there. And again, the line movement, it just tightened just a tiny bit. If you want to unlock the line movement tracker so you can see this breakdown for every single fight, including the implied probability, meaning what does this say? What does minus 207 mean as far as probability is concerned? All of that is available to you today at weonpicks.com for only $10 a month, along with everything else. We have a $4.99 super chat from John Doe. I appreciate the $4.99, John, but you're dead wrong. He said Pedro did not win the first round. He only landed leg kicks, and half of those were checked. No strikes to the head or body. Yeah, John, he literally won the first round. Go Google the scorecards for that fight. 2 out of 3 judges gave it to Pedro Munoz, and if that went to a decision based on those scorecards, Pedro Munoz wins.
Mike Bell and Doug Crosby, the person who did not give it to Pedro, Sally D, baby. We know how Sally D scores fights.
So thank you very much for the super chat. I just wish you didn't use it to be wrong so publicly. Next up at UFC Kansas City, we have the most interesting line movement on the entire card. We have Tanner Boser taking on Jan Cutelaba. Tanner Boser, 20-9 overall, 1-4-1 in his last 5. Nope. Tanner Boser, 20-9 overall, 2-3 in his last 5, making his light heavyweight debut. And he's taking on Jan Cutelaba, 16-9, 1-4-1 in his last 5. He only has 1 win in his last 6 fights, and he's the favorite now. He opened at a plus 140 dog. He is now the minus 131 favorite, taking on a former heavyweight. And if this doesn't feel like last week's Curtis Gastelum fight, I don't know what does. The guy who opened as an underdog, can barely scrounge together a win, is now the favorite. That is literally exactly what happened.
Chris Curtis and... Oh, because Kelvin. I got him. Okay, now I'm making the connection. I got it.
You being sarcastic or serious? Yeah, you are.
No, I was like, wait, Chris Curtis was not coming off. I was like, no, I'm stupid.
Yeah, exactly. So Jan is the Kelvin in this situation, where he opened as the dog, hasn't been winning fights, and flipped to the.
He's never really been top level like Kelvin, so that's a little bit different.
Anyway, Jan Cutelaba, he's a chinless grappler. He's going to get the takedowns. He takes everybody down. He will get those takedowns. But if you hit him flush, this dude is out. He's done. He's got no chin whatsoever. Absolutely 100% feast or famine. He's going to chase a stoppage. Typically, he gets topped, at least in the last 4 losses here. He's getting stopped while chasing those stoppages. And he is aggressive. He does try to get it done, and he goes out on his shield. So you can only respect the guy for what he's doing. His takedowns are pretty solid. He does have power in his hands as well. He's not a BJJ nerd. Yes, he's best on the ground, but he's not a BJJ nerd. He will bomb away looking to take your head off and then trying to get those takedowns. He's taking on Tanner Boser. Tanner Boser was a heavyweight, a small heavyweight, but a full-blown heavyweight fighting full-blown heavyweights. He's coming down to light heavyweight. This is his debut. He's an athletic guy, right? It's almost similar to how we broke down Trevin Giles. He's very athletic, relies on that athleticism. He's fast, solid hands, very real power. He was knocking out heavyweights. And he was athletic there, but small, so he's coming down here. I imagine he's going to remain as athletic and not be small. He's coming off the loss to Rodrigo Nascimento, who is big. He was taken down 3 times in that fight, but it was clearly the better striker. And I think that's what happened here. I think people are like, oh, Tanner Boser gets taken down. Oh, Cutelaba takes people down. Well, Tanner Boser's getting taken down by heavyweights. He's also jacked. Have you checked out this guy's Instagram? This dude has a 6-pack. I mean, he looks good. He cut down the light heavyweight
I'm typically on the female Instagrams.
I figured you were. He did it the right way, cut the weight, looks very, very good. And I think Tanner Boser gets this done. Quarter of a unit, I got a plus 105. Again, you're going to get better odds than that. Right now, it's plus 111. I think Cutelaba may get a couple of takedowns, but Cutelaba has taken down plenty of people and not one. Not one. Look how many times he took down Dustin Jacoby. He took down Dustin Jacoby like 9 times.
Relax.
9 times.
Relax.
And didn't win that fight. So one single punch changes this entire thing. I don't see Tanner getting submitted. I don't see Tanner getting knocked out by Cutelaba. Certainly he can get taken down, but I think he pops right back up and every round starts on his feet. Tanner Boser is absolutely the pick. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, we're aligned here absolutely once again. And I will say, I almost guarantee that Tanner wins because when I first started looking at these odds and started looking at these fights and breaking down stuff, I was like, oh, lock of the week. Tanner Boser is absolutely lock of the week. He is not going to be lock of the week. I found somebody that I like a little bit better, but he's probably going to win now because I was going to make him the way lock of the week's been going.
Lose,
yeah, now he is probably actually going to win. Listen, Pudilova, I have no doubt in my mind that he gets a takedown early. Right, I have no doubt. I mean, he's strong, explosive. He's kind of gone away from like I'm going to try and knock everyone out to, oh my God, I'm getting knocked out and I'm a chinny guy to let me go back to my wrestling. And he does have success with it. I mean, as you mentioned, he does have success with it. He will take people down. He will get on your legs. He will scoop you up. He is very powerful. It's like the Gilbert Burns takedowns. There is some technique behind it, but he wants to be all power all the time to get you to the ground. So I have no doubt that he gets Tanner to the ground. I just don't think he can finish Tanner on the ground early. And Tanner is a dog. As you mentioned, he's almost like the Clay Guida in this fight. The difference is I don't think Clay Guida can outwork Rafa, where Tanner can definitely outwork Pudilova. He can make him work on the ground. And once he's back on the feet, the second that Pudilova's game plans don't work, he's not a quitter. And I mentioned this in my quick pick video. He's not a quitter. I don't want to say he's a quitter, but his body fails him. He doesn't want to stop. He won't stop working, but his body will fail him. His body will get tired. His chin will get out. His submission defense will give out. He is not quitting, but his body is quitting on him, and I think that's exactly what happens here. He can't get the finish early, and when he can't get the finish, we see him fade. I actually think the weird thing that could happen here, and I think the odds are like plus 3,000, plus 3,500, plus 4,000, is a Tanner Boser submission. He's not a submission guy, but Pudilova has been getting so desperate with his wrestling, even when he's tired, that I think that the submissions will just kind of present themselves to a guy like Tanner Boser. Oh, you're going to give me your neck? Okay, here's my first guillotine. It's something like that. So that's something I might play for value, but Tanner Boser, I agree. I think he's a play. He's durable enough to withstand the early onslaught that is Pudilova. I think he's flat on his back at some point, but he gets back up and just kind of works his volume.
I completely agree. He's been taken down plenty of times, taken down 6 times in the UFC, but again, that was at heavyweight, and he manages to work his way back up and put together some decent wins. Both of us on the Tanner Boser side, $7,800 in DraftKings. I will definitely spend that because history tells us if Tanner Boser wins and if Pudilova loses, it's going to be by stoppage. So
1 + 1 is 2 sometimes.
Yeah, occasionally. So we're going to spend that $7,800 in DraftKings. I've got the money line bet on Tanner Boser. You can get better odds, just slightly, but you can get better odds right now. I will almost guarantee after weigh-ins, Tanner Boser is going to be the favorite again.
People are going to go, oh, shit.
People are going to see him on the scale.
Don't do the research, yeah.
100%. People are going to see him on the scale.
Jacked.
Dude, he looks phenomenal. Like I saw the Instagram picture, and I immediately was like, Jesus Christ. I went to the bathroom, and then I came back, placed this bet. So Tanner Boser is absolutely the pick here. All right, stop with the noises. If you want to unlock all of our picks, bets, tools, the safety parlay, and everything else, weonpicks.com. It is only $10 a month. Yeah, look at him. Look at him on the left. I mean, that's incredible. Look at the picture on the screen, and then look at Jacob's phone. So he's going to knock out Pudilova. He's going to be worth that money.
Submit him.
We do have a whole bunch of super chats. We have
holy shit,
$36.99 from Maxader. Hey guys, what are your thoughts on the announcement of Costa versus Chimaev in Abu Dhabi? I didn't see if that was an official announcement. If it is, that's an awesome fight.
That's what Chael like somehow leaked that, like he knows what's going on. Abu Dhabi in October, and who was the main? The main event was going to be. I can't remember. Sorry.
Well, either way, that's an awesome fight. I think Costa has proven to us that.
It's going to be Islam versus the winner of Oliveira and Dariush. I think was going to be the main event for that card in Abu Dhabi.
That'll be an awesome card. I don't know who I think wins. If Chimaev decides to wrestle nonstop, he could probably win this fight. But if he wants to play a dangerous game like he did against Gilbert Burns, then Costa's going to beat him. Costa's good.
He's good. He's a good wrestler. He's a good wrestler, good grappler too. I mean, you saw the way he was defending takedowns against Yoel. I mean, Yoel is an Olympic wrestler, and obviously the Chechnya and the Dagestanis, that's a little bit different with the way they can MMA wrestle. But he has very, very good takedown defense, very good scrambles, very powerful. I think it's going to come down to what Costa shows up. He got his new contract. He's feeling good now. He's going to be making a ton of money. Is he going to be as motivated, or is he just kind of the fun, joking guy now? Because he's got quite the personality now.
He does. Thank you very much for the super chat.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
$5 from John Doe. Judges are wrong. Prove me wrong. Look at strikes. Watch the first round. Love y'all. Judges suck. We did watch the first round. And we both agreed
Whoa.
that you don't think Pedro Munoz won that first round?
I wouldn't have scored it for Pedro, but I'm not a pussy, so.
Because you want to make fun of Pedro.
That's what different between me and you.
You want to say Pedro only landed leg kicks, but what did Sean do in the first round? He didn't do anything either. And then we got $10 from TJ Brewer. Win or lose, still love you guys. Rough couple of cards. But we back this weekend. Thank you very much, TJ Brewer. I wouldn't say couple cards. Jacob had one rough card, but I guess a bad night for Jacob is like a bad year and a half for a lot.
There's a lot of times where my premium bets are doing well, but if you guys are on the live stream, we've been actually 2 weeks ago we were up thousands. The Cheeto card, I was up thousands of dollars on the live stream, and then I put I think $700 or $800 on that on the live stream on Cheeto. And we all watched that together, which was a very frustrating thing. So you turn into live streams. We were putting real money on some of these fights, and that was frustrating. But we did pretty well that card.
Good for you, Jacob. Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you so much.
Next up at UFC Kansas City, we have the featured fight of the evening. We have Dustin Jacoby taking on Azmat Mirzakhanov. Dustin Jacoby, 18-6 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, coming off a controversial decision loss, which broke a 12-fight win streak. He's taking on Azmat Mirzakhanov, undefeated at 12-0, and he's riding a 4-fight knockout streak. We love Dustin Jacoby here. We've broken this guy down so many times. He's a very high-level kickboxer. At one point, he was ranked number 2 in the world in kickboxing. Does a great job keeping it technical, working in leg kicks. He's got good power, good volume as well. Taking him down, that's what you're going to want to do. But I mentioned earlier, people have taken him down. He does get taken down. Pudilova took him down 9 times. That only made its way to a draw. He's been taken down 12 times since 2020. And none of those were losses, or none of those fights had losses. I like Dustin Jacoby quite a bit. He is coming off that loss to Khalil Roundtree, where he landed more strikes, but he attempted takedowns and they failed. But a lot of people still think Dustin Jacoby won that fight. Azmat Mirzakhanov, he's not a big dude. He's pretty actually small for light heavyweight, but he makes up for that size with just straight up raw power. He is a good wrestler. He's got solid ground and pound, but his hands are so good. He doesn't even use his wrestling. He just loves to bomb away. He has 3 fights under the UFC umbrella. He has won all 3 of them by knockout. The Tafon Chukwi fight, though, is an interesting one because he was losing that fight. Fight. Real bad. And he would have lost if Tafon in the 3rd round didn't decide to come out guns blazing. If Tafon just took it easy, didn't take the chances, Azmat Mirzakhanov is no longer undefeated, but he did take a chance. Azmat threw that knee right up the middle and got that done. I think Dustin Jacoby wins, but I totally understand this line movement. I totally understand it going from -200 to -159 because Azmat is so dangerous. He's proven how dangerous he is. It's insane how dangerous this guy is. If he wants to wrestle like crazy, he can. If he lands clean, he can get the knockout. So Azmat Mirzakhanov is going to be the much, much more dangerous guy, but I trust Dustin's just straight up kickboxing technique to keep it clean, to keep it technical and get it done. Dustin Jacoby is the pick, but I don't necessarily trust anything on this enough to bet. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I'm obviously a biased Dustin Jacoby fan. I've been a big fan of his for a while. Da Un Jung fight, everyone was making fun of me because I said he was going to win that fight. Oh, Da Un Jung's going to knock him out, and he actually got the knockout. So I'm biased for Dustin Jacoby. And everyone remembers that Khalil Roundtree fight as probably one of the robberies of the year. I mean, that was absolutely insane from what I thought. Then I rewatched the fight this weekend, and I was like, I can kind of see where they're coming from here. I mean, yes, Dustin Jacoby he absolutely controlled the entire fight. He out-volumed, he was doing what he needed to do to win that fight. I absolutely think that he won that fight. It was a robbery. But I could kind of see where the judges are coming from because Dustin Jacoby fought that fight like a Sean Strickland fight. I mean, it was all volume. He was not sitting down on anything. He was throwing triple, quadruple jabs out there, just pop, 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 a little touch with the right hand, kind of get out. And Khalil was landing the powerful shots. I mean, he was beating up the face of of Dustin Jacoby. And that worries me because I think Dustin was fighting like that because he respected the power and explosion of Khalil. So he fought smart, right? I mean, he won that fight. He fought smart, stayed out of the big damage, kept that range, was beating him up with the jab. But if he does the same thing here, we might. Oh my God! It says Chris Gutierrez. Did you?
Dude, my graphics are a mess this week.
I was like, wait a second.
It's not on both. It's only
if he does
on
the
that
same
one.
thing
Jesus.
here against Azamat, we might have the exact same situation because Azamat is a guy that will sit there, eat the shots. You saw him eating all those shots versus Tafon. I mean, just eating them, waiting for that big shot. We could have the same situation here to where the judges, Missouri judges again, don't understand the volume and the controlling of the pace. Because, I mean, Dustin Jacoby controlled that entire... I mean, he controlled that fight against Khalil with everything he did. But the power shots were there. The same thing that could happen with Azamat here. I don't think Azamat's going to wrestle. You mentioned he can wrestle, and I think we both agree that he probably just kind of waits for the power shots. But I'm a big Dustin Jacoby fan. He's going to be my pick. I really kind of want to put him. I put him in a little bit of a parlay. You can become a premium member, weonpicks.com, to see what it is, because I do trust him probably more than I should. But I'm a little bit worried. If he fights that same fight, the same thing might happen in this fight because Azamat's one of those guys that can land power shots. It's going to be, one power shot to every one of 4 of Dustin's, but it could be the difference, man. So I'm a little bit worried too.
Yep, I hear you. I don't trust my money here. I wanted to go in on Dustin because we've done well on Dustin in the past, and I think he won that last fight. So in my mind, the dude's undefeated in the UFC, at least in the last however many years.
And I'm honestly glad that they didn't just say, okay, now we're done with you. Because he was working his way up. He won a ton in a row. Now they're like, okay, let's see if he really is that guy. We'll put him against an undefeated guy, main card of a live crowd. So I really do appreciate that the UFC was like, okay, we understand that was nonsense. Let's keep giving you prospects and kind of work you up the rankings. So I hope he gets it done. I'm a big Dustin Jacoby fan.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting if we get to see Azamat's wrestling. We haven't seen his wrestling in the UFC that much, but outside the UFC, it is there. It'll be interesting if he goes to that in this fight, knowing he's fighting a very good kickboxer. Should be a really fun fight. $8,900, Dustin in DraftKings. I'm going to have to look a little closer to see how well he scores. Obviously, he does have that knockout, but outside of that one knockout, he's really not a knockout guy. He's a point kickboxer, which typically does not score well in DraftKings, but I got to take a closer look because his volume is crazy, so he may score better than I think. If you're on the Azamat side, then you're getting a discount. 12-0. A whole bunch of stoppages. Russian wrestling. $7,300. We may be the dumbest people in the world for not being like, guys, you're getting an undefeated Russian wrestler who's got power in his hands and a bunch of knockouts at plus money and $7,300 in DraftKings. It might literally be that simple. And we're going to find out.
It could be. Because this could be, I mean, just like, it's almost like Izzy and Alex. There's kind of a weird comparison, but just controlling the whole fight, the first fight. Controlling the whole fight for Dustin, and then bam, fight's over. That's how he beat the Fawn.
100%. 100%. WeOwnPicks.com, as Jacob mentioned, to unlock the bets, the picks, the DraftKings optimizer, and all of the things. Next up at UFC Kansas City, we have a very good co-main event, especially for a fight night card. This is like a pay-per-view opener fight.
Should be Royval and Nicolau.
This is a great co-main event for a fight night for sure. We have Edson Barboza taking on Billy Quarantillo. Edson Barboza, 22-11 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. He's coming off that decision loss to Bryce Mitchell. He's taking on Billy Quarantillo, 17-4 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is alternating wins and losses. Edson Barboza, I've mentioned it a bunch of times. He's almost like a watered down Charles Oliveira. He's got phenomenal striking like Charles Oliveira. He's got phenomenal jiu-jitsu like Charles Oliveira, but just never made it. Why are you making that face?
They don't strike anything the same.
Just never quite made it to that spot. They don't fight quite the same. Yeah, because Edson's a more dynamic striker.
The flags are wrong on this one, too. Jesus Christ. What were you doing?
God. I don't know what happened.
Maybe you did deserve all the hate on Sunday. Jesus Christ. That's probably why you're just in your own head.
Man, I don't know.
Russian Billy Q. That's the new meme fighter. Russian Billy Q, baby.
I don't even remember what day. I don't know what the day. I mean, my dog, we thought we had to put the dog down. I got this thing going on in my neck. It's been a while.
And what was wrong with the dog?
He has a spinal issue.
Do I want to make I was about to make the same joke. You
about what?
That back out. Working on that engine.
Anyway, while Jacob makes disgusting jokes about my dog who's in severe pain right now, I'm going to break down this fight. Edson Barboza, we've been breaking him down forever. Very good striker. Very good jiu-jitsu. Insane highlight reel knockouts. Insane highlight reel submissions. He's unbelievably fast. He's insanely technical. He does not initiate takedowns, but once he's on the ground, he's very good with sneaky submissions. He's taken on Billy Quarantillo, Billy Q, also a very good grappler, solid striking, incredible aggression. His striking's not technical, but his offense is effective. He's landing almost 8 significant strikes per minute. He's got a weird style, but fantastic BJJ. He only has a 21% takedown accuracy, but it does have 10 takedowns in 8 UFC fights. I love this as a co-main event. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to watch it. It's a daddy-daughter dance at the school. So I may not. I know, girl dad. I may not be able to watch this fight, but this is one that I don't, it's not often that if I show up and I get home and I missed a bunch of fights, I'm just going to watch whatever's on. I'm not going to rewind it. This might be a fight I rewind for. This could absolutely be fight of the night. I think Billy does get it done here, but I think he's going to need to focus on the wrestling. If he's going to strike with Edson Barboza, he's going to have a rough outing. And I know Billy doesn't go to his wrestling very often, and I know his takedown accuracy is only 21%. But I think he can wrestle. He can get it done. Edson Barboza, stupid, dangerous, literally everywhere. But I think Billy Q's just relentless pressure with the wrestling is going to be able to get it done. So Billy Q's the pick. I'm surprised he's become an even more favorite against a guy like Edson Barboza. But for now, sticking with Billy Q. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I think Billy Q might be in a little bit of trouble here. I see him as a kind of a better version of Bill Algeo. Kind of the same guys, very well-rounded, tough as shit. Really, I think that he doesn't rely quite on his toughness as much as Bill Algeo, but that's kind of his crutch, right? If things aren't going well in the first round, he knows that he can kind of outwork people in the second round, win that round, and then work to find finishes in the third round. And you saw that against Alexander Hernandez, right? I mean, he was getting outworked, was struggling with the speed of Alexander. Alexander was all over him, in his face, but eventually he was able to kind of outwork and outpressure Alexander. Alexander coming down 145, terrible weight cut, got tired, but he was struggling with the pressure early. I think he struggles with the pressure early with Edson Barboza. You mentioned the super dynamic striking, the kicks of Barboza, just lightning fast. Everything he does is lightning fast. And the issue is Barboza isn't going to really get tired. If he can strike like that, he can do that for 3 rounds. He's a veteran. He's been there. And even if he gets tired, he's not a quitter. He's not going to stop. He's not going to fall. He's still going to be working. He's still going to be throwing strikes. He's absolutely tough. That fight with Shane Burke was absolutely insane. The back and forth, Billy Q can't out-tough Edson Barboza, and because he can't out-tough Edson Barboza, I think Edson just does enough in the first couple rounds to be able to win this decision. Both these guys are tough as hell. I don't see a finish either way. So if Edson's going to jump out early, win the first round, and has the ability to win the second round, I just don't see the path for Billy in this fight. You mentioned the wrestling. That would be his path. If you're playing Billy, you probably do want him to wrestle because Edson is a little bit susceptible to being taken down, and that would be the easiest path. But I think he comes, co-main event, he's trading with Edson. He tries to do the normal game plan of, kind of wearing people down. It just doesn't really work. Edson's speed gets the most of them, wins the rounds he needs to win, and gets the job done. So I'm on Edson Barboza, but, it's not crazy confident,
I hear you. No, my neck is killing me.
Oh, my God.
It's. I need my.
What about your
medicine. Back? It's. Solid.
What about your pussy and your crack?
It was inappropriate.
Do you know the song?
I do.
Do you want to sing it?
No, I don't.
Okay.
We're split on this fight. Neither one of us are super, super confident, but I think Billy Q will get it done. I agree. Relying on Billy Q and his Russian wrestling to get this done is not the most confident I've ever been, which is why there is no bet here, but I do think he will get some takedowns. Frankly, Friday when the takedown prop bets drop, I'm probably going to hit Billy Q to get more takedowns. It'll be juiced.
Michelle, most takedowns, plus 180. I hit that bet. Huh?
You did hit
Give
that
it up.
bet, like,
Give it up
barely.
in the chat. Give it up in the chat. She had like 2 or 3 takedowns. She was good to go. Give
Well,
it
then
up
which
in the
one?
chat.
Which one did you barely get? I was watching live on one, and it barely happened. Oh, you didn't.
I had Lucie
get,
most
you
takedowns.
Didn't, yeah, you didn't.
Fucking minus 2. I only put a half unit on it because I was like, I mean, she should. And she gets taken down not immediately, but Jesus
Early.
Christ.
And then didn't get her own back. Anyway, those bets have traditionally been successful, at least for me. So we're going to go with that. When that drops, if you're a premium member, make sure your Discord is linked because those takedown prop bets, those strike prop bets, those hit quick.
Yeah,
like those hit
fast,
quick.
yeah.
Those move
because Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no,
please.
I was only talking
No,
because
please.
I think the when we see some of these opening odds, they open and it takes a while. We've been doing this 2 hours, and it takes a while for us to see those odds. The Bet Online takedown and strike prop bets, the minute those drop, we see them instantly. So we can be on the right side of the trend. We can hit them very, very quickly. So they move fast. Link your Discord if you're a premium member.
To that point, Izzy to win the first round opened at plus 120. By the time I grabbed it, it was plus 105. 10 minutes after I alerted the premium members, it was already at minus 110. So I mean, it is like boom, 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 and that was a great bet to hit. It did hit. Izzy won the first round, and there you go.
Yep, there you go. WeOwnPicks.com to become a premium member. Once you're a premium member, link your Discord. It's on your account page, and then you can do whatever you want with your phone, set up any kind of alerts you want, so that anytime we post something for premium members, you will get that alert on your phone instantly. And people are just loving your transparency. Great bet, very transparent. Artem loves the transparency. Thank you, Jacob, for being just
that food's still going in the background.
That's why your dog's obese. By every measurable,
you want to compare dogs? Your little sausage you got laying on your couch right now broke his back because his stomach hangs so low. That's why your neck hurts. Stupid fuck.
Scouting. $7.99 super chat from Giddy Up. You guys are dope. Very entertaining. Appreciate your work. Also, Clay Guida first round KO. I'm loading up.
Shit.
Good
Appreciate
luck
that.
with that. Yeah. Thank you very much for the kind words and the super
There's been
chat.
so many donations, man. So I appreciate you guys. The live streams, too, have been getting crazy amount of donations, too. You guys are awesome.
John Gallagher, I live in Texas. Come to Texas. Message me. I will happily beat your ass and put it on the live stream. Jacob was like, find a gym in Dallas that will let you do this. And every week you have a standing time. So anybody who says nasty things in the comment section, you know where I'll be and when I'll be.
Every Sunday, you're gonna be in a folding chair on the wrestling mats in your blue gi. With your white belt on.
I agree. I'm with you. I agree.
It's a 2-stripe white belt.
It's a blue that I've had since 2003. I got my blue belt in 2003. 2003. Okay, pussy. Come to Dallas. Let me know. Come to Dallas.
Holy shit, this dude's gonna fuck you up.
I assume he's a twerp like the rest of them. No offense.
Like that guy that sent me a thing on Twitter when I was like, nice knee pads or whatever. I was like, send me a picture of you shadow boxing. And he sends a picture. He's like, this is me punching my friend. It's like this.
He's looking at the ground. He's
with
looking,
knee pads on.
He's looking at the... So this dude tweeted Jacob, basically telling Jacob he would beat his ass. Jacob goes, prove it. So he tweeted...
No, it was about the Rosa thing. He was like, oh, Rosa's just hitting pads. I was like... He's like, anyone can look good hitting pads. I was like, all right, post a video. Anyone can do it. Post a video of you hitting pads. He's like, I'm not going to take the time of posting a video, but here's me punching my friend in the face.
Literally was looking at the ground, looking nowhere where he was throwing the punch. His left hand wasn't protecting his face. His right hand was overextended, and he was wearing knee pads. And then you made fun of his knee pads, and then I jumped in to protect you.
Me and him came back around. I mean, me and him, I don't want to make fun of him anymore because I forgot me and him came back around, and he seemed like a good guy, but you threatened to end his life. No,
he wanted to be the tough guy. He was like, then let's spar. He said that to you, let's spar. So then I jumped in, I said, okay. And he's like, send video. I'm like, of what? You put out an offer. I have accepted your offer. What do we need video for? Let's go. And then he was like, he said something. I was like,
it's funny because he wanted a video from you, but the original request was me asking for a video of him, and he was like, oh, I'm not gonna. But when you were like, I'm not gonna do that, he was like, oh. It's like,
Yeah, he's like, exactly. It's like, exactly what? You made an offer. I've accepted your offer. Let's go. What's the problem? And then I made fun of the picture. I was like, you're not even looking at what you're punching. You're doing this. You're not protecting your head with your left. You're going to get kicked in the face. He's like, it's just boxing. I'm not going to get kicked. Then why do you have knee pads on?
Well, I always wear them because you just never know when
the rest of the day looks
when an
like.
Opportunity is going to pop up.
Twitter is a wild place. Twitter is a wild place.
It's going to get even more wild. All the blue check marks are going away. You know, Twitter Inc., the company, is no longer a thing. Elon merged it into one of his parent companies. He's going to make he said he bought Twitter to turn it into his app X, which is going to be an app for literally everything. I guess there's a Chinese app that kind of you can buy stuff in it. It's like a social media app, but you can do everything in there. That's what he's going to kind of mimic, and that's what Twitter is the core to turn into. So hold on, everyone.
Twitter's the most negative space on the planet. Period.
I had a lot of fun.
Period. Well, because you were born in that. I mean, only 2 years older than you, but you're very. You're a troll. You are also a troll. So
well, and I also, I mean, I know I've been there, done that. I mean, I ran my own Madden website when I was in high school and out of high school and stuff. Had the forum, had the live chat, had everything. So you got to go back and forth, boom, boom, boom. We're ready for everything, and I feel like I'm pretty good about them.
Yeah, no, you're just as much of a cretin as the rest of them. Next up at UFC Kansas City, we have the main event of the evening. We have Max Holloway taking on Arnold Allen in a really, really interesting main event. Max Holloway, 23-7 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. All 3 of those losses to Alexander Volkanovski. He's taking on Arnold Allen, 19-1. 5-0 in his last 5, riding a 12-fight win streak. We have 2 very, very good strikers. Both of these guys are incredible strikers. Max Holloway is an amazing striker. He's very fluid, has nice movement. He keeps his volume up. He keeps his pressure up. An incredible 7-4 striking differential with an 84% takedown defense and a bunch of title wins and title fights under his belt. He's taking on Arnold Allen, who's a very good striker in his own right. He loves to come forward. He's got an upright stance, which helps protect him and keep him outside of range. And then he comes lunging in with power. He's got nice footwork, solid hand speed. He does mix in takedowns well when he wants to. And he has a few sneaky submissions under his belt as well. And he's amassed a pretty sneaky win streak he's got going on here. This is a great main event spot. Max, minus 176 right now. These odds are moving just a little bit. He was minus 180 the other day, minus 176. So they're probably pretty settled here. Both guys.
He was up at minus 200 at one point, I think, the other day.
When I did it on Saturday, I think he was minus 180. So, yeah, I'm sure it's bouncing around a little bit. But Arnold's going to be faster. He's going to be the faster guy. Max is going to have much higher volume. He's going to have the experience advantage. He's definitely going to have the size advantage. And Max is only 31 years old, despite the longevity of his career, the wars he's been in. He's not that old. But he has taken damage. Like, we're not seeing it per se. He's not getting dropped. He's not almost getting put out. But he is taking shots. He's getting beat up. And I don't mean that like like he's losing fights getting beat up. But Yair Rodriguez cracked this dude a bunch of times. So I still have to ride with Max Holloway here because until he looks old, I just have to assume he's not old, right? Like I can't just keep saying, oh, he's old, he's beat up, he's old, he's beat up, when he doesn't actually look that way. His volume's incredible. There's not a single thing he has not seen in the cage. Arnold Allen's going to come out, going to try to make this happen, but I think Max Holloway's just going to be too durable, too busy, too in his face, and Arnold Allen's going to come up short. 5 rounds, main event. There's a lot going on here. I got to go Max Holloway here, but man, I have not been betting main events, and I'm telling you, it makes them so much more enjoyable. I just get to watch. And enjoy. I don't have no pressure. It's great. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah. Let me say that this might be a full scale learning experience for me, because I came in and I had a biased pick in Adrian Yanez and I touted him. I said he's a better striker, And it was a big jump up in competition. Listen, I obviously he made a mistake in that fight, but it was a big jump up in competition. You saw what happens when you fight people. And he even said himself, like, I can't fight lower level people the same way I'm fighting these guys. I have to be on my P's and Q's. And I think we could have the same situation here. I'm a big Arnold Allen fan. I've always been biased towards Arnold Allen. I think he's a great, great fighter. But this is a big step up in competition. I mean, this is not a depleted Dan Hooker. This is not a Qatar who blows his knee out. This is one of the all-time greatest featherweights in the history of the UFC, who has only lost to the same guy. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, wow, he looked awful against Volkan that last fight. And I agree. He didn't look great. He didn't look like he had the same pop, the same speed. I think there has to be some mental fatigue when you're fighting the same guy 3 times, especially when the third fight starts off the exact same way. I mean, he was just getting beat up again. It's like, I'm sure there was a moment in that fight where he was like, here we go again. Like, Jesus Christ, like, what do I got to do to beat this guy? I think he's going to be a little bit more refreshed in this fight. And the biggest key to this is Arnold Allen is a huge dude. I mean, he is a big guy. He cuts a lot of weight to get to 145. And because of that, his cardio does slow down. Not only does his cardio slow down, his style of fighting is not a style where you can really pace yourself, because he's not just kind of in the pocket, moving his head, slight movements. He is bouncy. He is on his toes. He is in and out. He is side to side. He is just kind of parrying the jab and using his footwork as his defense. And because of that, over 5 rounds, I don't see that translating over to 5 rounds. So if you're Arnold Allen, you kind of got to make this a 2-round fight and try to put Max away. You mentioned everyone's kind of been beating up Max in his face. He's never been knocked down, but he has taken damage. You have to kind of test that chin early, because if you try to pace yourself, you're just going to get outworked by Max anyway. You got to take a chance. Maybe he throws in some wrestling and stuff. I don't think he can out-wrestle Max Holloway, even though he's a pretty good grappler. I think Arnold Allen needs to come in, treat this as a 2-round fight, and I need to put this guy away in 2 rounds and take a chance against one of the greatest featherweights of all time and put yourself in contention. Because if you just kind of try and dance around, I just don't think he can win this fight against a guy that's so skilled in Max Holloway. Especially, I wouldn't be surprised if Max Holloway kind of lights up his legs too early on and kind of coasts. I could see Max finding a finish 4th, 5th round, just kind of laying on volume. But I love Arnold Allen. I'm trying to learn from my past mistakes. I'm biased for him, fighting up in level competition. I'm going Max Holloway here, and honestly, I think it's a great, great matchup for him.
All right. Good luck. Good luck.
We're on the same side.
I know. It is going to be.
I was like, wait a second. Did I say I was picking Arnold Allen? He was like, what the hell's going on?
No. It's going to be a fun fight. This is a great main event, and we're going to see if we're going to get a changing of the guard or not. And if Max Holloway wins, then it's going to be interesting, because look, he beat Yair Rodriguez. That game, took a little bit of wind out of his sails. And then he's going to beat Arnold Allen. Like, if he's just going to literally be the second best guy on the planet, that's going to be so annoying for this division. So annoying for this division. And we know he can't compete at 55. He went up and Dustin beat him. He's just not big enough.
He said he might consider, which is a little bit concerning when you hear people talk about moving divisions while they're still fighting in the division at the top level. It's a little bit concerning. Listen, I like Arnold Allen, and he does have power, but his power is smart power. He doesn't really wing shots. He waits until you're hurt, and then he just blitzes you. You've seen that. You've seen that a couple times in his fights. And if he's never really hurting Max, he's never really blitzing. He's just going to stay on the pocket or outside the pocket, kind of dance around, and he loses that fight probably 8 times out of 10 versus a guy like Max.
No, I hear you. I think Max's veteran IQ and all the other things are going to get it done. $9,000. It is a 5-round fight, and while Max isn't going to be looking to grapple, his volume is insane, and his volume scores really, really well. He does score well in DraftKings because of that volume and the pace he lands. If you're on the Arnold Allen side, then this is probably the most affordable he'll ever be again. If you think he wins this fight, he's never going to be anywhere near the 7,000s again. Because if he wins this fight, then he honestly is as good as everybody thinks he is. Going to be a decent card, lots of good spots. Hopefully we found them for you. Go to WeWantPicks.com, become a premium member. But when you get to WeWantPicks.com, you're going to see there's a new look and feel with even more information. Jake and I have separated out our pages. This opens up the door for a couple things. One, you can now have a unique experience and information breakdown from each of us. My page has different content than Jacob's. I have my safety parlay. I have a safety parlay tracker, how every single one did or didn't do. Jacob's is going to have his picks, his bets. He's going to have the lock of the week history. I'm going to give you round leans,
Look at all those
confidence
W's
picks
too, huh?
on every single pick. Yeah, it's at the top. And that opens the door to add even more analysts. We have added Artem. Artem, you've seen him do videos for us. He does a lot of the non-UFC content, and that's what he's bringing to the premium table. You're going to get PFL breakdowns from him. You're going to get Cage Warriors breakdowns from him. LFA breakdowns, Bellator breakdowns. This week alone, right now, there's PFL, LFA, and Cage Warriors content on his page for you if you want to check that out, as well as the picks, the confidence, and the line leans for UFC. It's the same $10. We're adding more and keeping the price the same. There's not a person on this planet that can sell anything in this space that is remotely close to what we're doing. Literally nothing. If you can find somebody that has a better premium that isn't just some stupid post on a freaking, what's that stupid thing people do? They post on a Patreon. I'll give you a month for free. Send them my way. And if it's better value than us, I will give you a month for free, and we're going to learn, and we're going to figure out what they're doing. Yeah, well, it's going to be impossible to find.
Judge, jury, and...
We also have tools and information available for you. We have the line movement tracker. You're going to get opening odds, current odds, the probability, and that actual movement to help find trends, help find your spots, hop on or off a train, and the detailed metrics and analytics. You realize there are people out there selling a similar spreadsheet for $10? Just the spreadsheet, nothing else. Just the spreadsheet. I'm giving you the spreadsheet with premium and the line movement tracker and everything else. WeOnPicks.com. It's $10 a month. And if you want $50, I'll send you 50. All you need to do is go to WeOnPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our partners using our links, and we will send you $50 as a thank you. Guys, join the Discord. Discord is 100% free. If you're a premium member, you can then link it. You get fancy colors and unlock other channels. But in general, Discord's 100% free. Any last words for the people?
Nah. Appreciate all you guys, though.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out. This was longer than usual, and we'll catch you the rest of the week for even more content.